The lights grow brighter this week. Stories begin before the nation even realized the pen has been dipped in the ink of basketball magic. On this spectacle of a stage, failure is simply not an option. Win, and you continue to breathe, with your head barely above the proverbial sea of defeat. Lose, and you will succumb to the waves and be drowned, your season sinking with you. As the eerie breeze whips a storm over this hallowed building, another storm begins inside of it. Maction has arrived in Cleveland. Survive in advance. There's truly nothing like it in the world of sports. My name is Jake Zirolli. I will be your pregame host for today's coverage of the Miami RedHawks women's basketball team's first round game in the Mid-American Conference Tournament against the Kent State Golden Flashes, the 1-seed RedHawks taking on the 8th-seeded Flashes. Getting things started with our meeting history, Kent State has the narrow advantage, 53-51, in favor of the Flashes in 104 meetings. The last meeting was on March 4th, just 7 days ago. Miami winning that one 71-52. That was, of course, at Millett Hall in Oxford. We were with you for that game. Jumping into the season so far, Miami 26-5, the joint first seed in the Mid-American Conference, the outright first seed, that is, having claimed the season series over Ball State, but being a split of the regular season title since both teams finished with a 16-2 conference record. Miami's last regular season game was a 77-62 loss at Ohio on Saturday. Of course, they beat the Bobcats in Millett 90-70, but then lose by 15 at the Convocation Center in Athens. So a bit of a hiccup there, hopefully just an anomaly before this conference tournament. Scoring leader in that game was Clara Gonzalez, the senior guard from Barcelona, Spain, the transfer from Jacksonville State. 16 points for her on the day, adding 3 rebounds and an assist on 55.6% shooting. So a great game for the Spaniard, a player that does not normally score a lot, only averaging about 4 points, a rebound and a half, and an assist on just about 36% shooting. She's not a huge offensive contributor, makes her name more well-known on the defensive side, but 16 points for her in the loss. The rebounding leader was Amber Treader, as usual, 7 rebounds for her, 1 on the offensive glass, 6 on the defensive. And the assist leader, again, business as usual for Tamar Singer, 6 assists on the game. A quiet game for her as well, though, on the offensive side with only 4 points and 2 rebounds. But she did add 5 steals. Of course, Singer being on the MAC all-defensive team was just elected to that honor. Team stats, shooting-wise in that game, 40% from the floor, 29% from 3, and 79% from the free throw line. How do those stack up with their season averages? The field goal percentage is 5 points below their average, which is 45.1%. The three-point percentage, 6 points below, the season average being 35.1%. And the free throw mark a little above, about 3 points above, as the season average is 75.7%. So a bit of an uncharacteristic shooting line, 40, 29, 79. Definitely contributed to their sole 62 points being scored, as they are averaging 71 a game, which is good for 3rd in the MAC. Their shooting stats in the order of field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, and free throw percentage are good for 2nd, 1st, and 2nd in the conference. So just an uncharacteristic game. They look to shake it off and come into this first round firing. They were down only 1 at half, but Ohio won with a big third quarter, 29-17 in the third period of play, and they were able to pull away from there and eventually win it by 15. Starting 5 was the normal starting 5 in that game. Tamar Singer, Amber Treader, Ilse de Vries, Nuria Herho, and Amber Scalia. Moving on to the Kent State Golden Flashes, coming at 15-15, the 8th seed in this Mid-American Conference with a 9-9 conference record. Of course, located in Kent, Ohio, not far from here in Cleveland at the Rocket Arena. Their head coach is Todd Starkey. In his 10th season, an 179 and 126 record amassed over his 10 campaigns. He's taken them to the tournament a few times, won the outright title a few times. He looks to go on a run in Cleveland here, get his girls back to March. In their most recent game, a 67-60 win against the Western Michigan Broncos on Saturday to cap off the regular season at the Mack Center in Kent, Ohio. Their leading scorer was Maya Babbitt with 27 points. Babbitt is the leading scorer for this Flashes team with 16.2 per game. She also added 4 rebounds and 3 assists on 52.6% shooting, and even contributing 4 steals on the defensive end. Babbitt chipping in all facets of the game. She's been unbelievable this season, the 5'8" guard from Papillion, Nebraska. The rebound leader was Deanna Gray with 6 rebounds, all of them on the defensive glass. Only 5'4" Deanna Gray, but still getting 6 rebounds, also adding 7 points for her own, the senior guard from Huntington, West Virginia. She was also the assist leader with 8 assists. The assist game is really where she's thrived this season, averaging 5 assists, but 6 rebounds as a 5'4" guard. Pretty insane. She was able to grab 6 boards, all of them on the defensive glass. So she hustles for those long rebounds. May not be as crucial in the post, which you can guess from her smaller stature, but hustle is something that cannot be taught. The team stats in that game for the Golden Flashes: 39% from the field, which is just below their season mark of 40.6%, good for 7th in the MAC. Their three-point percentage was 44%, which is way above their season average of 29.7. And their free throw percentage has always been the best part of their game. 85% was their free throw mark against the Broncos, well above their season average of 78.1, which is still good for first in the MAC. This Flashes, excuse me, this Flashes team is the best free throw shooting team in the MAC. For comparison, in terms of the number of 80+% free throw shooters that Miami has, they have 3. Those being Brooke Blumenfeld, who's now injured, of course, Tamar Singer, and Macy Taylor. Kent State has 8. That is 8 players who are shooting 80% or better from the free throw line, and 2 players who are shooting 90% or better, those being Maya Babbitt at 90.4% and Corinne Hauser, the senior guard from Rochester, Pennsylvania, at a team best 92.9% from the charity stripe. They've been very, very tidy on the free throw line, something that they look to continue here. That is always crucial in surviving advanced play when things get down to the wire, when you've got to shoot free throws to survive. Having a great mark like that is always something that helps out. A big second quarter from Kent made the difference. It was a close first quarter, but then the Flashes pulled away a 19-9 second period, put them over the line, eventually won the game by 7. They were actually worse from the field than they were from 3. Those two marks comparing it. 39 from the field, 44 from 3, which normally you don't see. Is the conventional aspect is that a three-point shot is harder to make than a field goal, a standard field goal, but a really nice three-point shooting day for the Flashes carried them there. Starting 5 in that game was as follows: Tatiana Thomas, the senior forward from Bolingbrook, Illinois; Bianca Juzo, the senior forward from Ribeirão Preto, Brazil; Anna Campanelli, the freshman guard from Huntley, Illinois; Maya Babbitt, and Deanna Gray. Got about 17 minutes until tip-off here. We'll go into some stat leaders now on this first day of the MAC tournament. The festivities getting underway in Cleveland, Ohio, at the Rocket Arena, the home of the prestigious Cleveland Cavaliers. The points leader this season for Miami is Amber Treader with 14.5 points per game. Treader elected to the All-MAC first team, a prestigious honor for her, for the junior forward from Ferdinand, Indiana. She has been one of the best players. She's been one of the best players in the MAC, if not the best forward in the MAC, maybe outside Ball State's Tessa Towers. But a very, very good season for her. After her, it is Amber Scalia, who is averaging 13.4 points per game. Scalia, a surprising snub from any of the All-MAC teams. Very surprising from her. Didn't make the first, second, or third team, or the honorable mention, the freshman, of course, being a senior, or the defensive team. So potentially Scalia will use that as fuel to propel herself to having a great MAC tournament here and pushing these RedHawks over the line into March. And the third leading scorer for Miami is Ilse DeFries. DeFries was elected to the All-MAC defensive team. She had a very good season, as well as the All-MAC third team. So DeFries, the Dutch sophomore, standing at 6'3", averaging 12.8 points per game. She's had the best season of her career. For Kent State, The points leader was Maya Babbitt, averaging 16.2 points per game. Babbitt was named to the All-MAC second team, one of the best guards in the conference. After her, it was Corinne Hauser with 8.6 per game. And then Riley Rissmiller, the center. That's right, the center from Coldwater, Ohio, standing at 6'4". The junior coming from Dayton 2 seasons ago is averaging 8.4 points per game. Rissmiller is a dominant post player. Usually gets about 20 minutes a game, so we'll see how she stacks up against this Miami team who limited her somewhat well in the first contest, or I should say the most recent contest between these two just a week ago. In the rebounds game, Tretter's the leader for Miami at 8.1. After her, it's Ilse de Vries with 4.9. And then Nuria Herho with 4.1. Herho, the junior guard from Barcelona, Spain, standing at 5'10", a taller guard, was able to get some rebounds both in the hustle aspect of it and also when Miami fields a shorter lineup, as Tretter is the rebound leader but is only 6'1" compared to the 6'3" de Vries. And even the 6'3" Emily Van Timmeren, who gets in for some rebounds. Herho is able to slide into that shorter forward role as Miami now comes out on to the court with 14 minutes to go until tip-off. Kent State already been shooting around, but now the small contingent of the Miami band rings out into love and honor the alma mater. Kent State now, the rebounding leader is, of course, Riley Rissmiller, the 6'4" center with 5.8 rebounds per game. After her, Tatiana Thomas with 4.9. She stands at 5'10", the senior from Bolingbrook, Illinois. And then it's Emery Klatt, the sophomore from Killdeer, Illinois, standing at 6'1". Klatt, 6'1". Klatt, the transfer from DePaul. So coming in from her home state of Illinois now to play in Kent State colors. And the assist game, Tamar Singer is the leader. Singer was named to the All-MAC third team as well as the All-MAC defensive team. One of the best defensive guards in the conference. She's averaging 7.1 assists per game, so one of the best point guards in the conference and one of the best point guards in the nation as well by that assist mark. Number 2 for assists is Amber Scalia with 2.6 assists. Then it's Nuria Herho with 2.2. For the Golden Flashes, Deanna Gray is the assist leader with 5 assists per game. Then it is Maya Babbitt with 1.8, and then Corinne Hauser also with 1.8. Going into some roster breakdown now for both sides. For Miami, the best veterans are Nuria Herho and Amber Tretter, both being juniors. All the seniors on this team, those being Amber Scalia, Clara Gonzalez, and Ashton Ely, are all new transfers this year from St. Thomas, Jacksonville State, and UAB, respectively. Some other transfers on this team include Macy Taylor, the redshirt junior from Wright State, and Brooke Blumenfeld, the unfortunately injured junior forward coming in from a MAC opponent, the Northern Illinois Huskies. For Kent State, they are a very veteran-heavy team. Corinne Hauser is a senior who's played all her years college basketball for the Flashes. Maya Babbitt, a junior. Bianca Juzo, a senior. Tatiana Thomas, a senior as well. And the injured Janae Tyler is also a junior. Tyler, the 6'1" forward from Lansing, Michigan, who before sustaining her leg injury was averaging 10.5 points, 4.7 rebounds, and 0.6 assists on 46% shooting. The transfers, there have only been 2. Riley Rissmiller coming in from Dayton 2 seasons ago, and Emery Klatt, the sophomore transfer from DePaul at the start of this year. With about 12 minutes to go until tip-off here, stands are starting to fill up. We've got our Kent State faithful behind their bench. A good Miami contingent making the drive from Oxford, as the Red Hawk radio contingent did this morning, leaving at 5 a.m. from Oxford campus, getting here about 9:15 to the unfortunately gray and rainy Cleveland landscape. But a pretty solid Miami contingent, seeing about, give or take, 100 behind the Miami bench, plus, of course, the traveling band section. With 11 minutes to go until tip-off, it will start to fill up more. Having an 11 a.m. start for the 1 seed is a little brutal. I understand where they're coming from, trying to get them more rest before their second-round games, should they make it, of which, of course, we know they will. On Friday, the men will suffer the same fate. Maybe not suffer the same fate, but they'll be subject to that 11 a.m. start as well tomorrow against the UMass Minutemen. We will be with you for that as well in 24 hours. My player to watch for both teams. For Miami, it's got to be Amber Scalia, the senior guard standing at 5'9" from Stillwater, Minnesota. The transfer from St. Thomas had a great season in her only year in Red Hawk colors, averaging 13.4 points, 2.7 rebounds, and 2.6 assists on 41.1% shooting. Was not named to any All-MAC squad, which is surprising considering her 13-point average and her very solid three-point shooting mark as well at 33.1%. Her free throw mark at 79.6%. An all-around good offensive player. Very surprised she did not make an All-MAC team. But she looks to turn that into some fuel tonight. She is, pound for pound, their best guard. Singer may be better as a point guard and a facilitator, but Scalia is a better scorer for sure. And she will need to assist Singer in facilitating play against a strong perimeter defense in Kent State, which will learn from their mistakes in the last game when they played Miami a week ago today. Speaking of the last game, my player to watch from Kent State is Maya Babbitt, the junior guard, standing at 5'8" from Papillion, Nebraska. She is the leading scorer, and she was limited last time against Miami to just 7 points. So she will be looking to change that game plan to score more. Head coach Todd Starkey knows that she is their most dynamic player, of course, having 27 against the Western Michigan Broncos on Saturday and averaging 16.2 points per game. You got to have your star player firing if you want to have a chance against the top dogs of this conference. Going into some other games going on Wednesday of Conference Championship Week. Also at 11 a.m., we see in the SWAC tournament, Florida A&M taking on Alabama A&M. In the Southland tournament, UT Rio Grande Valley, the Vaqueros, take on the McNeese Cowboys, maybe the Cowgirls in the women's basketball. I'm honestly not sure. I'll actually check that here. Yes, it is the Cowgirls. At noon, that one at 11:30 between UTRGV and McNeese. At noon, in the MEAC tournament, South Carolina State takes on Howard, so a pair of HBCUs going at each other in the Scope Arena in Norfolk, Virginia. At 12:30, Delaware and Louisiana Tech in the Conference USA. At 1 o'clock, Florida Atlantic and North Texas in the American. Then the next MAC game, Ohio and Central Michigan. 30 minutes after this one finishes, which give or take will be around 1:30. At 2 o'clock in the Coastal Athletic Conference Championship, formerly known as the Colonial, UNC Wilmington and Northeastern take each other on. We're going to stop here really quick for the national anthem. Be back with you in just a moment. Sorry to leave you so abruptly there, folks. The national anthem kind of caught me off guard there. We're still 6 minutes, actually just under 7 minutes, until tip-off here. I thought it'd be a little later, so I apologize for that. As I was saying, at 2 o'clock in the Coastal Athletic Conference, formerly known as the Colonial, UNC Wilmington and Northeastern take each other on in the first round. At 2 o'clock, another Southland game. Stephen F. Austin and Lamar, battle of two 20-win teams, so that'll be a good one. Also at 2 o'clock, another MEAC game, Delaware State, Maryland Eastern Shore. At 3 o'clock, Jacksonville State and Florida International in the Conference USA. Also at 3 o'clock in the Big West, Cal State Northridge, the Matadors, one of the best mascots in all of college basketball, and I do in fact know all 364 of them, if you were wondering, but I'm sure you weren't. They take on Cal State Fullerton in the first round of the Big West. Of course, the Big West being one of the later conferences out there, that'll be our nightcaps tonight as well. At 3:30 in the American second round, Temple and UTSA. At 4 o'clock, or again 30 minutes after Ohio and CMU, Bowling Green and Ball State face each other. Ball State being the joint regular season MAC winners. They get the 2 seed, though, because Miami did sweep them in Muncie and Oxford. They take on Bowling Green at 4 o'clock. Actually, the Bowling Green media team is just next to us here in our little corner of the media section in the Rocket Arena. We got a great spot. We got a great vantage point. Going to be a great spot for this whole tournament. We hope to be with you for 4 days, ideally, as both the men and the women go far in this contest. At 5 o'clock in the Big Sky final, Montana State and Idaho taking each other on for a spot in the big dance. Montana State at 25-6, Idaho at 28-5. 2 versus 1, I guess. Idaho coming in at 17-1 in the Big Sky. Montana State at 16-2. So that will be a cracker of a game to decide who takes the Big Sky auto bid. In the SWAC at 5:30, Arkansas Pine Bluff takes on Alcorn State. At 5:30, UC Riverside and UC Santa Barbara in the Big West. At 6 o'clock, the WAC tournament in the first round, Utah Tech and UT Arlington. Of course, some controversy around the WAC tournament with a payment and escrow needing to be made by Utah Valley, the number 4 seed in the women, but the number 1 seed in the men's tournament. That payment was made, so the Wolverines will participate in both tournaments. And at 6:30, actually, your last game here. I apologize for saying the Big West was the nightcap. It is not. It's actually a MAC game. At around 6:30, Toledo and UMass will take each other on the 3-6 game here from Cleveland. With about 4 minutes to go until tip-off before I kick it to Luke West Poley and Gavin Stark. My keys to the game for both sides. Miami, the shot selection has got to get better. That was a big problem against Ohio. Of course, we weren't there to cover it for you, but just in watching the game, the shot selection was rushed. They were forcing three-point shots. They were forcing shots that we've never seen them force under Glenn Box. It's not a habit they want to get into. They've got to stop forcing shots. They've got to chew clock, get good possessions, find that shot. Their ball movement has been great all season. They've got to get back to that. And they have to not foul. This free throw shooting team in Kent State is unbelievable. They are the best free throw shooting team in the MAC. 8 players above 80%. You do not want to get in a free throw shooting battle with these Golden Flashes because you will lose it. Even though Miami is a solid free throw shooting team in their own right, being second in the MAC behind Kent State at 75.7%. They also have to limit the rebounding impact of Riley Rissmiller. They did a good job with that in Oxford, but this is a different environment. Rissmiller at 6'4" is taller than anybody else on the court. So I'm sure that Coach Todd Starkey is going to have her playing the bulk of minutes. Miami is going to need to deal with her if they want to limit the rebounding scope. For Kent State, they've got to make their threes. They were not good shooting-wise overall against Miami in Oxford last week, but a little better against Central Michigan. They've got to get back to that good three-point shooting. Find the place in the middle. You know, against Miami, they were in the 20% region in Western Michigan in the 44% mark. They've got to find something in the middle here. They've got to get rebounds. Of course, they do have the size advantage with Riley Rissmiller, but after that, they have Emery Klatt at 6'1". Of course, the injured Janae Tyler at 6'1". But then they've got a few at 5'11", being Journey Hildebrand, the guard, and Bianca Juzo. But then after that, they've got a few at 5'10", and a few at 5'9", a few at 5'8". So not a lot of size outside of Riley Rissmiller. They can't just lean on her. They've got to hustle and get all the rebounds that they can, especially on the defensive glass. And they've got to continue to shoot their free throws well. Just do well what you've been doing the entire season. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Isn't that what people say? So the free throw shooting has been their bread and butter all season. They've got to continue that. My prediction for this contest, Miami escapes not by a lot. 78-70, I say in this one. I think Kent State comes out with a fire in their bellies. They make this game a little closer than it needs to be down the stretch. Some free throws, maybe some crucial free throws missed by Kent State down the stretch. Their good free throw shooting maybe lets them down towards the end. Miami takes this one 78-70 in my eyes. That's going to do it for me. My name is Jake Zirolli. I'll be with you again for halftime and postgame. I'm going to kick it to Luke West Poley and Gavin Stark. They'll be with you for the first half. I will see you at halftime. Enjoy, folks. It's going to be a great week.
From Rocket Arena in Cleveland, Ohio. Glad to be on site for the second straight year. It's the 2026 Mid-American Conference Tournament on RedHawk Radio, and we get you kicked off with the first game of the four-day event as the women's quarterfinals are in action this afternoon, and Miami, the regular season champion in the MAC and #1 seed, kicks things off against the Kent State Golden Flashes. Luke West Poley, Gavin Stark with you. And Gavin, basketball has a way of humbling you a little bit. I think had Miami entered without playing that game last weekend into this tournament, they'd probably be feeling very, very good about themselves. MAC champions in the regular season. The RedHawks really ripped through the conference schedule with the only loss prior to Saturday. A tight one on the road just before the buzzer against UMass. Feel like you could probably beat anybody on a neutral floor, and then all of a sudden you get dished a little bit of humble pie on the road, play a nationally televised game against an Ohio squad that you were likely favored to beat handedly, and they thumped the RedHawks and gave them a little bit of a wake-up call headed into this tournament. As Miami finishes the regular season with a loss, they end up 25-6, 16-2 in the Mid-American Conference. But all in all, that can't take away from a fantastic regular season for Miami. And now, after their season was ended by these Kent State Golden Flashes in the second game of the opening session, the 4-5 game last year, they've got a chance to send Kent State home and win their third game over the Golden Flashes this year. And the RedHawks would love nothing more than to wash out what happened on Saturday with a resounding win to kick off the week.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Jake put it in a great perspective at the beginning of the pregame show. He talks about, you step into postseason play here like this is now. It's win or go home. You must win. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. You have to win every single game that you play to move on. And that's where we stand here in this quarterfinal game. First game here of this long week, hopefully for this RedHawk team. And I think this team's well prepared. Obviously, a little bit of a, stumble at Athens this past Saturday, but, some offensive woes, the reasoning for that. And I think this team ultimately might have had their eyes set on this game right here, thinking ahead a little bit. And you can't do that, but that happened, and it's behind them now. So I think there's still a lot of confidence still within this team, though, because, you played this Kent State team last Wednesday, and you handled them 72-51 ultimately in a really good win.
This Miami women's team, they've had a great year, but the net ranking is at 77. They clinched a bid to a secondary postseason tournament by winning the MAC in the regular season, but like you said, it is pretty much win or go home with their sights set on heading to the NCAA tournament. That march for third-year coach Glenn Box begins today with quarterfinal action. Winner moves on to take on the winner of the 4-5 game. That comes up 30 minutes after this one is done. Number 4, Central Michigan, and number 5, Ohio, who just beat the RedHawks on Saturday, playing for a chance to meet the winner of this game in the semifinal. And again, that game will be the first one of the session on Friday, a 10 a.m. start. Everybody on the women's side gets a day off with men's quarterfinal action kicking off in 4 games inside Rocket Arena tomorrow. We are so glad that you're with us. Miami gets to wear the home white uniforms this week as the top seed in the tournament. Scalia, Singer, Treader, Herho, DeFries for the RedHawks. Thomas, Campanelli, Gray, Babbitt, and Rissmiller for head coach Todd Starkey and Kent State in the navy blue uniforms and the yellow text across the front. Light crowd has filed their way inside Rocket Arena as we get what should be an awesome weekend of hoops kicked off. A total of 14 games over the next 4 days. We'll have all of Miami's action right here for you on RedHawk Radio.
If you like basketball, the MAC tournament is made for you because it's just jam-packed 4 days straight, full of basketball. Not many breaks in between those games either. Just 30 minutes in between these quarterfinal games these next 2 days. I mean, this is full of basketball and full of hopefully some exciting wins, especially for this RedHawk team.
Like you said, all-day basketball over the next few days here in Cleveland. As Miami meets up with Kent State, and the RedHawks look to win their 3rd game against the Golden Flashes this season. Ball put up in the air. Ilsa DeFries wins the tip-off back, and Miami takes it from right to left. That quarterfinal action between number 1 Miami and number 8 Kent State underway here on Red Hawk Radio. Tamar Singer for the right angle extended, cuts it to the elbow, kicks it out. Herho, far corner three, splash down. After a game where Miami shot under 30% from three, Nuria Herho, one of the best three-point shooters in the conference, gets Miami rolling. Quickly to the inside, it's dumped off to Tatiana Thomas on the cut down the right alley. She lays it up and in off the glass.
And Herho in the last game, 0 points for her, so she gets things going offensively quickly.
Treader on the far block off the feed by Singer, bumps into the paint, goes up, gets fouled, shot falls short. But Amber Treader is headed to the free throw line for Miami, 40 seconds in, 3-2 advantage for the RedHawks.
And Treader named a first-team All-MAC player once again in her third season now, a two-time first-team All-Athlete. And, you know, last game, 13.7 rebounds. 4 turnovers, though, for Treader. It was an issue for the entire team. They really struggled just holding on to the basketball and turning it over. But Treader has been a huge, huge asset for this team these last 3 seasons, especially this year.
Treader buries both free throws. Had 22 and 10 in the last meeting against Kent State as Miami picks up pressure. Deanna Gray prods down the left side of the floor. She breaks it, crosses the three-point arc, scoop out, 3 ball from the right side for Emery Klatt. And that falls off the right side of the rim. 3 RedHawks on Riley Rissmiller, and they tear the rebound away from her as Tamar Singer dribbles it across the timeline. Pointing with her left hand, we cross the 1-minute mark opening quarter. 5-2 RedHawks. Puts it on the deck and finds Scalia, left side of the key. Slings it left to the paint for Amber Treader, trying to wrap it around, looking for Tamar Singer, but 2 golden flashes there, knocked down by Klatt, and Kent State takes it the other way. Climb up the baseline for Campanelli, and she mows over Amber Scalia. It's an offensive foul against Anna Campanelli, the freshman, who's been starting since the beginning of February for Kent State. Todd Starkey's already made a handful of subs. He checks her out for Journey Hildebrand. And the RedHawks go from right to left.
And the RedHawks turn it over on the offensive end, but they get down quickly on transition defense, and Scalia in a great position to take charge.
Treader threads it through a tight spot, and off the cut, Tamar Singer runs into it for a lay-in on the right side. Miami by 5, just over 90 seconds in. Deanna Gray brings it into the front court. Gray coming off a 27-point game. Or rather, that was Babbitt for Kent State as it's deflected away on the right side. As it stays with Kent State here, and it's put back in. Out top for Rissmiller. Rissmiller around to the far side for Maya Babbitt. She had the 27-pointer, 3 shy of a career high, which she set against Ohio State. Now it's Deanna Gray. 7 and 6 for the undersized guard, and pulls up. It's Babbitt to knock down the shot. And that makes it 7-4 Miami, just over 2 minutes gone by in the opening quarter.
You talk about Babbitt's career high. Well, she struggled last Wednesday when she traveled to Millett Hall and ultimately sat out a lot of that first half as well due to some struggles on the basketball court. So Miami had her number last week, and they have it again this week.
DeFries missed one in traffic in the paint, and now Kent State setting up in the half-court offense. Gray circles the paint, works up the baseline, stepped on the baseline as she was going from the left to right wing. And Gray coughs it up. Second turnover for Kent State. 7-4 Miami, 7:32 remaining. We're in the opening quarter.
That was a great job by DeFries right there to just get in good position. No fouling, no unnecessary contact, but just forcing them out of bounds and ultimately getting another turnover here and now getting the ball back. Looking to grow this 3-point lead.
Singer comes around to screen, races down the right side, blows right past her defender and scoops it up and in. Good offensive start for Tamar Singer. She's got 4 points to lead all scorers. 9-4 Miami, 7:15 to go first quarter. A little bit of pressure picked up. Kent State breaks it as Journey Hildebrand catches a pass down the right wing. Back up top for Deanna Gray. Face guarded by Clara Gonzalez, who's into the game for Miami. And now Nuria Herho in Gray's grill. Off the crossover to the left side with 10 on the timer. Cuts to the middle. Feeds to the right wing for Hildebrand. Diagonally across the paint. Rips it through. Tosses it up and gets fouled as the shot missed the front side of the rim. But Miami puts Journey Hildebrand on the free throw, or rather puts, yes, indeed, I think it will be Hildebrand to take the free throws and just had to stop to tie her shoe. So she's going to the free throw line. Fouls against Tamar Singer. She picks up her first. Singer's had a tendency to get into some foul trouble this year. That's limited her minutes at times, as first free throw is put up and dropped through by Hildebrand, who's 71% for the year. Playing in an NBA arena, they've brought in a custom MAC court. It's got the MAC logos and the paint on the center of the floor as the second free throw is dropped in by Hildebrand. It says Mid-American Conference and, of course, has the college line. And a lot of seats in this place as RedHawks get it back to the offensive end, and Nuria Herho works her way up the right side baseline, but she laid it over top the basket too strong. Taken the other way by Hildebrand coast to coast. Try to back down Herho, puts it back outside. Now it's Deanna Gray, top of the key, crossing over, eyes the rim, heads down the right side, threw her head back, ball poked free, out of bounds off Kent State. Todd Starkey, hands in the air, wanted a foul call, but did not get one. 6:25 to go in the opening quarter. Miami checks Mio Sakano onto the floor, who's been getting more and more time, mostly as a ball handler, but has now scored in 4 games in a row. First time she's done that since her first 4 games as a RedHawk after transferring in from South Georgia Tech in the offseason.
Yeah, Sakano's found her way out on the floor, first from her defensive abilities, and now just finding more and more through the offensive.
Treader lined up a 3 straight away, missed it too far to the left. Kent State grabs it. Babbitt racing the other way, stopped short corner left. She got trapped, gets out of it, and got bumped and fouled. And it's against Nuria Herho, I believe. She picks up her first, second foul of the quarter for Miami. 6:08 to go opening quarter. Miami 9 and Kent State 6. As Todd Starkey chats with his assistant coaches. Kent State inbounds the ball short corner left for Emery Klatt. Pivoting around, she hands it off on the far flank. Slashed across by Deanna Gray. Stops underneath the free throw line. Gives near wing for Bianca Juzo. Back down low. It was poked away for a second by Klatt. She scoops it back off the deck. Tried to go up and under on Ilsa DeFries and left that way short. DeFries has the board. Mio Sakano from right to left up the floor for Miami. Now it's Treader top of the key. Finds Sakano near angle extended. Back out top to Freeze. Shot fake on the 3. Spins her way to the lane. Finds Herho on the right side. Tried to lift up a shot that never really got above her shoulders. It's tapped out of bounds by Kent State. DeFries adamant she got hacked on the arm. But it stays with Miami. 11 to shoot. 5:33 to go opening quarter. It's 9-6 RedHawks.
And just put on the board Glenn Bach's Coach of the Year for the first time, and Miami coach since 2004.
Near side, a 3 hoisted up by DeFries. That swirls the iron, and the rebound picked up by Journey Hildebrand. What a job Glenn Bach has done. Miami sweeps the MAC Coach of the Year awards. It was just announced prior to tip-off. Travis Steele taking home MAC Coach of the Year on the men's side. Shifty crossover from Deanna Gray. Down the left side past her defenders, but she smoked the layup. And the rebound picked up by Amber Scalia off a poke for Miami. Ahead with speed, slings it near wing. Herho off the catch, slides by her defender. A hook shot from 5 feet. Doesn't fall, but she's fouled. Corinne Hauser went to ground hoping to draw the charge, but she picks up the foul instead. And 1 second past the midway mark of the first. That brings us to a timeout on the floor. Little back and forth so far in our first MAC quarterfinal. The number 1 Miami RedHawks leading at the 8th seeded Kent State Golden Flashes 9-6 with 4:59 to go in the first. We'll return to Rocket Arena in downtown Cleveland when we come back. You're listening to Miami Basketball on RedHawk Radio. 4:59 remaining, opening quarter. Miami 9, Kent State 6. Nuria Herho towing the free throw line for the RedHawks. Luke Poley, Gavin Stark, Jake Zirolli on hand as well. Be back with us at halftime. Back and forth in the early going as the left-handed shot deposits through for Nuria Herho. First of 2 free throws. Third foul as a team on Kent State, which went against Corinne Hauser, and Herho, a very strong free throw shooter, makes 2 of 2.
And as Herho checks out, I really like the way that she has played in this first 5 minutes of play in this one. After last game, really struggling on the offensive end, has really been effective on the offensive end and super aggressive as well.
5 points, leading all scorers, 11-6 Miami as Treader gets a deflection out near half court. It's torn away and spun free by Klatt. She runs all the way in, lays it up, and gets the foul, plus the finish. Glenn Box arguing, but that was just a gamble for a steal there by Amber Treader. She knocked the ball into the backcourt, but couldn't get to it. Emery Klatt ripped the ball away, and then ran it all the way to the bucket to get the foul and the finish. The DePaul transfer at the line knocks in the free throw for an old-fashioned 3. Miami held her scoreless in the first meeting, but she's on the board to get Kent State within 2 at 11-9. Gonzalez drives diagonally to the right block and kind of fades it away over her head and scores. Almost like a soccer throw in there.
Gonzalez, the leading scorer of last game against OU, 16 points.
Stolen away by by Singer. She tried to feed DeFries to the middle. It's deflected back out. Now Gonzalez off a beautiful shot fake, cuts to the inside, but the two-hand push shot falls off the heel, and Kent State's got the rebound. Shot fake on the right wing. Babbitt drives inside, Euro through the lane, and puts it off the window and in. 4 points for Babbitt, 13-11. Miami leads under 4 to go first quarter. Singer off a screen at the right elbow. Wraparound pass, Treader. Back out Singer, right wing 3 in the air. Off the mark on the right side. Rebound by Gray. She's got space to run forward. Tears down the left wing, stops her feet outside the three-point arc. Dribbling between her red shoes. Now comes off a screen left. Gray ducks underneath DeFries, slings it up top, wide open 3-ball, swirls and drops for Riley Rissmiller. And Kent State's got their first lead at 14-13 with 3:20 to go in the first quarter. Now Treader tries a right wing 3. Too strong off the heel. Rissmiller tears down the rebound. Top 15 rebounder in the league for Kent State. Team that sits near the top of the MAC in terms of rebounding margin. They've got the ball back on the offensive end with 3 to play in the first. Babbitt, the electric blue shoes, drives up right short corner, tosses one up with the right hand, off balance, too strong. Rebound to the RedHawks, and now Tamar Singer ahead. No look pass, top of the key to Freeze. Spins into the lane, catches the contact, laid it up, too strong, and a travel actually, what was called there on DeFries. Maybe thought that shot fake was a little too good, and that's because it was. DeFries dragged her feet there after faking the 3 from the top of the arc. Turned back over to Kent State. They lead it by 1, 2:45 to go opening quarter.
That was a great move there by DeFries. Just, like you said, kind of slid that back foot to cause the travel ultimately, but if you can work to something like that and not travel, it's going to be very effective moving forward.
Emily Van Timmeren checks into the game for Miami. Ball wrapped into the post for Tatiana Thomas. She goes up and puts it too hard off the glass, but got fouled. It's on Van Timmeren, and that sends Tatiana Thomas to the free throw line. Coming off a game where she played a lot, 9 points, played 30 minutes. Or most minutes in about a month as she rattles in the first free throw. At her best game of her career against Miami, 18-13 in 32 minutes, but she leaves the second free throw short and leaves the Kent State lead at 2 with 2.5 to go in the first quarter. Tamar Singer pushes the ball to the right side for Nuria Herho. Off the shot fake. Handoff Gonzalez. Strong drive into the paint. Lays it off the window and in. Plus the foul. Clara Gonzalez has no fear to start this game. She ties it up at 15. Todd Starkey is incensed on the Kent State bench. But, man, Miami's guards are just attacking the paint right now, and Clara Gonzalez has gone right into the chest of multiple Kent State bigs to good success.
And Gonzalez has all the confidence from last game stemming into this game as well, and you can see it when she stepped onto the court right off the bench, and now just playing so aggressive offensively and finding her spot and getting to it.
Free throw funnels out for her. Gray takes it straight line ahead to the center of the paint. Ball loose on the floor. She pushes it out to the top of the key. Rissmiller feeds to the right side. 3 up for Hildebrand. It falls off. And the rebound for the RedHawks. Singer pushing. Stops with the right hand. Slings it across for the freeze. Open 3 is cash. What a pass from Tamar Singer. A one-armed feed from the left wing. And it finds DeFreeze in rhythm now as Kent State tries to push the other way, and Tatiana Thomas traveled going down the right side.
So far, it feels like Kent State's offense is moving at its best when they slow things down and really run through an offense. I mean, I think back to the 3 ball by Rissmiller when she nailed it from when Deanna Gray drove in and got her open at the top of the key.
18-15 RedHawks, 96 seconds remaining opening quarter. Gonzalez holds overhead on the right wing, try to slash across, ball punched free. It goes out in the very corner and stays with Miami. 10 on the timer for the RedHawks. Both teams on the verge of the bonus opening quarter. At quarterfinal action, first of 4 women's quarterfinal games, followed by 4 men's games tomorrow. 2 of each men's and women's in semifinal action on Friday, and then 1 of each on championship Saturday. Inbound bounced in for DeFreeze in the left short corner. Her pull-up jumper misses short, but tapped out of bounds by Kent State going for the rebound. A fresh 20 for Miami, and Amber Scalia goes to the left side baseline to retake this inbound. Puts it in for Singer, who is open. Shimmy shake from the right wing, gives back to the near side. Scalia, 3 ball is pure. Miami starting to hit their threes. They're 4 of 8 to start this game from beyond the arc. They lead at 21-15 with 1:15 to go in the first. Gray hands off, right angle extended for Hildebrand. Now it's Gray again. High right, puts it on the deck with the right hand, picks up her dribble, finds Hildebrand straight away, holding overhead, wearing the long sleeves. She gives to the far side for Tatiana Thomas, spins through a bevy of RedHawks and put up a wild shot short. RedHawks then try to thread a long pass forward across the timeline that Deanna Gray jumped in the way of to knock out of bounds. Scalia looking for a home run ball there across half court. Stays with Miami. 51.1 seconds to go. 26 on the shot clock for Miami. They lead at 21-15. This is the largest lead either team has had so far. Tamar Singer brings it into the front court on the left side. Calm as she dribbles between her left and right hands. Dribbling shoulder high now, bounces it for Scalia right of the key. Jab step, heads down the right side. Bullies into the contact and gets the foul call as she flailed up at the rim. Did not get a super clean shot away, but does earn a trip to the free throw line for 2 shots. Miami in the bonus, and the RedHawks work the clock for a 2-for-1. Shot and game clock still separated by about 8 seconds. And Amber Scalia is at the free throw line.
Really like how the Miami guards are just getting downhill early in this game and drawing contact, getting to the free throw line, finding points in different areas. This quarter, they've gotten to the line really well.
Scalia 360 the rim on the first free throw, and it dropped. Second one is straight down the center of the net. 23-15, Miami in front as Macy Taylor checks into the game for the first time. She replaces Amber Scalia. Defensive sub here for Glenn Box as Miami looks to get a final stop. Kent State pushing. Gray nearly had it punched away. Now finds herself all alone as she recovered underneath the rim. Put up an overhead shot that didn't catch anything, but Kent State's got the offensive rebound. No shot clock reset as the ball didn't hit the rim. Gray controls left side of the logo. Dribbling with her left hand. Now to her right. Shot clock at 7. Left elbow extended. Prodded free by Macy Taylor. Scoop back up the deck by Gray. Step back Trey. Doesn't go. Rebound chased down. And touched while stepping on the sideline by Riley Rissmiller. With 6.1 seconds to go. Shot clock off. Miami rushing up now some offensive subs as the RedHawks get Singer, DeFries, and Scalia back onto the floor. Amber Treader inbounding from the far corner of the court. Puts it in for Singer, just shy of the logo. Dribbles it across the timeline with 3 seconds. Comes off a screen right, going downhill, lays it up, and in at the buzzer. Tamar Singer caps off a monstrous first quarter. 6 points, 3 assists, a rebound, and a steal with an acrobatic lay-in at the bucket. The RedHawks beat the buzzer. They've got the game's first double-digit lead at the quarter break as that layup stretches it to 25-15. Miami ahead of Kent State as the top seed, looking to move on to the semifinals here in Cleveland. RedHawks with a 10-point advantage as we move to the second quarter on the other side of the break. You're listening to Miami Basketball at the MAC Tournament on Red Hawk Radio. After 10 minutes, a strong close to the first quarter. Miami goes on a 12-0 run, and the RedHawks lead at 25-15 as we enter the second quarter of play. Luke West, Poley, Gavin Stark back with you as Kent State goes left to right. Corinne Hauser bounces it deep into the corner on the wing. Journey Hildebrand from the right side, cuts across, floats one up from the MAC logo, falls off. Klatt on the rebound, but had a poke free. Nuria Herho up the floor for Miami. Now Tamar Singer, little out of control, and she threw it away, looking on the far block for DeFries. Stolen by Hildebrand. Brought up the floor by Hauser down the left wing. Heads to the corner pocket. Backs inside the three-point arc. And an offensive foul called as Hauser pulled the trigger on a long two. I think an illegal screen on Klatt. And so that turns things back over to Miami. 6th giveaway already for Kent State. 25-15 RedHawks, 40 seconds into quarter number 2. Singer off the handoff, lays it over the defender and in on the left side. From the block, that was Corinne Hauser in her face. Tamar Singer feeling it offensively so far. She's got 8. RedHawks lead it by 12. Out of control drive from Hauser as she went down the right alley, spun into the lane, chucked up a wild shot that didn't come close. RedHawks emerged with it the other way. DeFries, high left, bullet pass to the right side for Singer. Wraps it to the low post for Tretter. Shoulders into her defender. That's a mismatch with Hauser on her, but Tretter turns around and a little bunny shot falls short. Rebound to Kent State. Maya Babbitt brings it up the floor. Babbitt turns, fires a three straight away and missed the front rim by a couple feet. Skitters out of bounds, and Miami gets the ball with 8:35 remaining in the first half, leading by 12.
And now it feels like Kent State getting put in that situation where they feel like they need to score now, and right there, a forced shot by your offensive threat, and Maya Babbitt ends up in a poor execution, and all of a sudden Miami has the ball again, looking to grow the 12-point lead that they already boast.
Singer, right elbow extended. Draws a double team, slips the ball through for Tretter, short corner right. Bullet pass from AC Taylor. 720s, finds Tretter again underneath. She's swatted by Riley Rissmiller from behind as it's knocked out of bounds. 2 full spins there from AC Taylor on the left block before finding Amber Tretter. Shot erased, 3.9 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Amber Scalia inbounds from the left side baseline, looking, tosses it way out near half court. Singer comes down with it, steps into a long three, a little bit strong. Rebound by Deanna Gray for Kent State, who has not scored in over 4.5 minutes. Gray steps off a screen left, shuffles and hands off on the wing for Tatiana Thomas, swung around to the near side for Maya Babbitt. Babbitt finds Rissmiller, perpendicular to the basket, back in for Babbitt, crashed into a defender, got the loose ball, rolls it to the far short corner for Campanelli. She's swarmed, somehow outlets, far side three, put up by Gray, and she missed it. And a rebound by Miami, but an offensive foul called against Tretter. And the RedHawk bench just blew up on the sideline. Tretter got that rebound, but the official said that she was clearing out space for herself and swung her elbows around, did so a little bit recklessly and committed an offensive foul. And so Miami survives that flurry of a defensive possession, but then gives the ball right back to Kent State under their defensive basket. Just the first foul on Tretter, by the way. 12-point RedHawk lead, 7:35 to go, second quarter. Babbitt inbounds it over the head of Rissmiller, who chases it down right next to the Miami coach's box before it heads out. Now an errant handoff gets left on the floor by Deanna Gray. She scoops it back up away from Singer. Spins back at the key with 8 on the shot clock. Now it's Thomas. She's swarmed at the elbow. Thomas pivoting. Outlets up top for Rissmiller. Now it's Thomas again. Shot fake from the right side. Puts one up at the buzzer. It doesn't go, and it's a shot clock violation. And that is a 60-second clinic of defense put on by the Miami RedHawks to get another stop.
And that's exactly why they sit as the 1 seed right now. It's because of their defense. It is just phenomenal. What Glenn Box has done with this defense on this squad is just unbelievable.
Tretter spins as she fell away from the basket, hooked one up with the left hand in the paint. That's way short off the bottom of the backboard. Rebound to Kent State, diagonal drive, Campanelli laid it off the bottom of the backboard, but Amber Tretter fumbled the rebound along the baseline and lost it out of bounds. Golden Flashes get it back with 21 on the shot clock, 6:48 remaining, second quarter. 27-15, the Miami lead. Deanna Gray holding on right next to the right lane line. Trying to put it out top. It's stolen by Tretter. RedHawks running off the handoff. Singer threads it across. Herro tripped up, and she traveled. And Miami got a little sped up there. And although this is a 14-0 run dating back to the first quarter for the RedHawks, little bit of a lull offensively. They haven't scored in 2.5 minutes. Had the chance to really put the hurt on Kent State with the amount of stops they're getting. Still, though, just a 12-point game. Gray brings it up slowly for Kent State. Tamar Singer's right in her face. Gray bounces it to the right post for Tatiana Thomas. Handoff up top for Babbitt. Races down the right side. Tosses up the two-hand shot. It goes, plus the foul. Almost a granny shot there from Babbitt. Little underhand flick with 2 hands down the right side. She caught contact and a foul. And the junior out of the state of Nebraska, Maya Babbitt, headed to the free throw line, who averaged 16 a game in the regular season. She drains her only shot. She's a 90% free throw shooter, good enough for third in the MAC. And that cuts the lead back to 9 for Miami.
And if Kent State wants to win this basketball game in advance, I think Maya Babbitt's got to be the answer and the reason on why they're going to win this game. She has to take over this game at some point, and it's got to be soon, or Miami's going to run away with this one.
6:22 remaining, second quarter. Miami 27 and Kent State 18. Deflection as Miami trying to pass it up the far side. Knocked into the courtside seats. It stays with the RedHawks with 21 on the shot clock. Tamar Singer is still the game's leading scorer with 8. Maya Babbitt trying to chase her down. She's got 7. Babbitt with back-to-back games under double figures against Miami and Akron, and then returned with the 27-pointer, her most since February 1st. Singer off the inbound, ran it down the left side, got a good look, but laid it short with the left hand. Kent State with the rebound. Babbitt tried to swirl into the paint, and Singer jarred the ball loose and out of bounds, still with Kent State.
And talking more about Babbitt, I mean, she struggled so much in most of that game last Wednesday at Millett Hall that it ultimately was just too much for Kent State to really handle without her for most of that game. Got going a little too late in that one. That's why they lost by 20 plus.
Inbound forced into her. She pulls it away from a couple white jerseys, and now it's held onto by Gray on the left wing. Finds Babbitt. Quick trigger three with a defender in her face. Catches nothing but air, but an offensive rebound for Tatiana Thomas. Her putback doesn't fall. And Scalia emerges with it, now weaves through, kicks out. Herho fakes the right corner three, slashes across, and slings it up top for Gonzalez, who fumbled the pass. Miami resets. Herho, left side of the key, pulls up for three. Off the inner half of the rim, it falls out. Rebound picked up by the Golden Flashes as Gray takes it from left to right. Gray cuts to the paint, went up against Clara Gonzalez, got blocked, and the officials say it came back down on her and out of bounds as she went for the layup. But I believe Kent State will challenge this. Gray can't believe it wasn't a foul, but her coach is not protesting that. He's just calmly requesting a review. So Kent State goes for the coach's challenge here to try and get the ball back. And that sends us to a timeout on the floor. 5:25 remaining in the second quarter with the score Miami 27 and Kent State 18. Call on the floor is Miami basketball. We've got a Kent State coach's challenge, and we'll let you know the call on the other side. You're listening to Miami basketball at the MAC tournament on Red Hawk Radio. Just a reminder, coming up at halftime, Jake Zirolli has a Red Hawk Radio halftime report. Preview of the day. We're an early game here in college basketball, so a look at what's to come around the country on the men's and women's sides, what's to come today, the Mid-American Conference, and a preview of the second half ahead. 5:25 remaining second quarter. No official signal, but it looks like they stuck with the call on the floor. So Kent State loses a timeout there, and Miami gets the ball as they go from right to left. 5:19 to go second quarter. RedHawks up 27-18. And it's Tamar Singer, left side of the key. Threw it off the foot of Tatiana Thomas, looking for Nuria Herho on the wing. It's a kick ball. Shot clock sets up at 20. Just over 5 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Scalia, whose right wrist is taped today, puts it in for Tamar Singer. She plays catch with Nuria Herho. Now it's Singer again, back for Herho on the right wing. Herho cuts directly across, finds Singer on the left, try to sling it all the way through traffic, and it's intercepted by Anna Campanelli. Now Deanna Gray saunters from left to right, heads to the wing, bounces it to the post for Thomas, turns around in the face of two defenders, pull-up jumper, scrapes off the front rim, and two players, one for each team, in on the rebound. It's a tie-up. Possession is with the RedHawks. So Miami gets it back. 11 seconds past the midway mark, second quarter. Miami still leads at 27-18, but now it's the RedHawks' turn to go on a lengthy scoreless spell, as it's been almost 4.5 minutes since Miami's last bucket.
And their defense really keeping them in this with this 9-point lead right now. Without their defense, they would be in a much different situation. Offensively, got to find things here soon.
Herho straightaway tray pops out, went halfway down and came up off the backboard. Rebound to Babbitt in the Golden Flashes. Babbitt off the shot fake, heads by on the left side. Left hand scoop, falls off the iron. Offensive rebound for Kent State, but Thomas couldn't feed it through a tight spot. Knocked away, now Singer drives down the center, kicks out, right flank three. Knocked down by Amber Scalia. Fifth three-point make. Check that, fourth three-point make of the first half for Miami. 30-18 RedHawks at just over 4 minutes to play in the second. Campanelli off the shot fake, heads to the nail, pulls up from underneath, and missed it off the back iron. Scalia with the rebound behind the back of the dribble. She crosses the three-point arc on the right wing. Found Tamar Singer, who drove, tried to go up. It's punched out. And it's still Miami possession with 3:47 left in the quarter and a 12-point Miami lead. Kent State is 1 for their last 18 from the field, and they've turned it over 9 times.
And Amber Scalia, the one to end the dry spell for Miami, and she's 200th career three last Wednesday, 1,500th point on last Wednesday as well. Just so many accolades for her.
Miami put it into her, tried to pivot around from the center of the paint, never really found anything. Chucked up a shot, didn't fall, fouled the rebound against the RedHawks. And so that's the second on Nuria Herho, and it's Kent State possession from left to right. 3:40 remaining in the opening half. Still one more to give in this quarter for Miami, and 3 fouls to give for Kent State, only fouled once. Golden Flashes have nobody with multiple fouls. Deanna Gray brings it from left to right, former Gatorade Player of the Year in West Virginia, whose dad had a good career at Marshall. Bounces it off for Caitlin Holmes, who's back in the lineup after missing the season finale. Little shimmy shake, pops up with a long two just inside the key. It doesn't go, and Mio Sakano gets bumped down to the ground, going for the rebound. Foul against Emery Klatt. She picks up her second. Don Starkey checks Riley Rissmiller back into the game. She takes Klatt's spot as Tamar Singer brings it up the floor, dribbling with her right hand, calling the play with her left. Angles it to the right side, bounces straight away for Ilse DeFries, fakes the handoff back to Singer, who flashed to the basket. Singer didn't see her. Instead, she gives for Sakano on the left flank. Back up top, Amber Scalia had it poked free, scoops it off the deck. And now it is Singer cutting it across, trying to thread a pass down low for Sakano off the cut. Missed her too far ahead. The ball rolls out of bounds, and Miami turns it over for the 7th time. RedHawks picking up pressure here as they lead at 30-18, 2:58 to go in the first half. Deanna Gray dribbling the ball up the floor. Bounces it right elbow for Tatiana Thomas. Handoff out top for Caitlin Holmes. Circles to the elbow. Pushes the ball to Rissmiller on the right block, and she shuffled her feet and traveled. And Kent State gives the ball back to Miami for the 10th time. Just nobody wants to score, it feels like, for stretches of this game. As again, Miami has done great things defensively today. That's been the case all year, but the RedHawks really could have punished Kent State for it on the other end and have not done so yet. DeFries spins into the paint, lost her balance. It's out of bounds off Miami, and Kent State again doesn't like the call. Todd Starkey doesn't use a challenge, though. The inbound comes to DeMar Singer, and she drains a straightaway three. And a lot of words coming from the Kent State bench as the officials go back up the floor. Tamar Singer's got 11 points, and Miami's made 5 first-half threes. 33-18 RedHawks, largest lead of the game at 15. Gray cuts to the right block, and a blocking foul on Sakano as she went by.
Deanna Gray actually stepped out of bounds there on the baseline. Blocking foul called. Prior to that, saw that happen before, and no blocking foul was called when Elsa DeFries stepped in front of Deanna Gray, but get in better position to get that call.
So second chance at life on this possession for Kent State. Gray inbounds from Thomas, worms through 2 defenders, pushed the shot too strong off the glass, but Miami fumbled with the ball, left it on the deck, and Kent State swarms it. Thomas ties up Gonzalez as the RedHawks got the rebound. Possession goes back to Kent State as they had the arrow with 2:04 remaining second quarter. Miami 33 and Kent State 18. Holmes inbounds for Corinne Hauser. Hauser works her way to the short corner left, turns and pops up from the first hash in the left alley and puts it in. Hauser was a nice spark for Kent State in the last meeting. Cuts the lead to 13 with 1:49 to go first half. Gonzalez off a quick first step, drive and kick, right side, wide open three, knocked down by Tamar Singer. Tamar Singer on fire with 14 first half points to lead all scorers. And it's Miami 36 and Kent State 20 with 90 seconds to play in the second quarter.
Tamar Singer named to the third team All-MAC honor, but playing like a first team All-MAC this half.
Babbitt steps back, launches a long left wing three. That doesn't go. Rebound tapped out of bounds by Kent State as Singer blocked out on Hauser, but she got a finger on it. Possession back to Miami with 1:13 to go in the second quarter. And I don't want to say that Tamar Singer's offensive capabilities took a step back this year, but much like Amber Treader, just maybe wasn't pushed to score as much. That really allowed her to flourish, passing the ball and playing defense. But kind of good to see what we saw in spurts last year from Tamar Singer, which is chunk scoring. This time she inserts it into the paint for Mia Sakano. Wide open MAC logo jumper off the front rim short. Rebound picked up by the Golden Flashes. Hauser around a screen. Almost popped up for three straight away. Instead gives for Campanelli on the right wing. Back up top it comes for Hauser. Turns all the way around to face her coach. 13 on the shot clock, 40 on the game clock. Hauser for the right angle extended. Slips it to Campanelli on the drive. And a foul, I believe, on the RedHawks. It's on Amber Scalia, who impeded Campanelli. That's her first foul, 5th as a team for Miami, so it sends Anna Campanelli, who's a good free throw shooter at 80% to the line with 37.7 seconds remaining.
And those are the fouls that, really kill you and irk you. Under 10 seconds on the shot clock, you pick up a foul, and now Kent State gets a trip to the free throw line.
Ashton Ely getting set to check on for the first time for Miami. First free throw arced up and in by Campanelli. Had her only point just now at the free throw line after an 0 for 2 start from the field. Second one up and in for the freshman. Kent State's leading scorer, Maya Babbitt with 7. Miami's leading scorer, Tamar Singer with 14, followed by Amber Scalia with 8. Ashton Ely checks on for Mio Sakano. RedHawks bounce it up the floor for Tamar Singer. Shot and game clock separated by about 7.5 seconds. Ely from the far angle extended. Every field goal attempt for her has been from 3 this year. Finds Singer. Backs it to the right elbow. Hands off straight away Scalia. Scalia stop and go move. Stops at the block. Backs it out. Pulls up from the mid-range. Little short. Rebound for Kent State. Picked up by Corinne Hauser. Shot clock off with 10 seconds to go in the half. Hauser turns to face her coach. Standing on the M and the MAC logo. 4 seconds to go. Crossing over on Taylor. Heads down the left side. Pulls up just inside the arc. It goes halfway down, but falls out. And just indicative of the type of half it was for Kent State offensively. Maybe not an ideal look there for the Golden Flashes playing some ISO ball, but not a terrible look. And for Hauser, that ball dropped 90% of the way through the net. Somehow found its way out. And Miami retains a 14-point lead at the break. 36-22 your score as we've reached halftime here in the first quarterfinal game of the opening session at the 2026 Mid-American Conference Tournament. And overall, again, Miami executed as they typically do defensively. You'll never be too disappointed forcing 10 turnovers and only giving up 22 points and a half. But for the RedHawks, you turn the ball over 8 times on your own and did not shoot the ball well at all from inside the arc despite your success from 3, and kind of left something on the table there. You would love for this to be maybe 4 to 6 points more put onto this lead given what you did on the defensive end in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, you certainly could be leading by 20 or more going into half right now, but you lead by 14, and that's what it is. You get a second half now to really grow on this, and if you play better offensively, you know that you have this game, and have this game by probably 20 or more, just like you beat them last Wednesday as well. So a little bit of frustration maybe inside of that locker room right now if you're a RedHawk, but ultimately you know you're the better team, and you executed in the first half, not to your full standard and liking offensively, but defensively, you held this team to 22 points.
Yeah, this Kent State team, which has struggled a little bit to score this year, averaging under 70 points a game. Figured that may not match up well against a Miami defense that has just caused all sorts of chaos against opposing teams this year. And Miami manhandled Kent State on that end of the floor. They've got a 14-point lead as we've reached the break. We'll step aside when we come back. Jake Zirolli's got your RedHawk Radio halftime. Again, your score after 20 minutes in game number 1 of the week here at Rocket Arena. Number 1, Miami 36. Number 8, Kent State 22. You're listening to Miami basketball at the Mid-American Conference Tournament on RedHawk Radio.
Halftime in Cleveland. Miami up 14, 36-22 over the Kent State Golden Flashes. My name is Jake Zirolli. I was with you for pregame. I'm with you for halftime. I'll be with you again for the postgame. So without further ado, let's get into this first half, which had twists and turns alike. A very high-scoring first quarter for the RedHawks. Slowed down in the second period a bit, but still maintained the 14-point advantage, putting up 25 in the first period of play to just 11 in the second one. Kent State, 15 in the first period of play, 7 in the second. So a general slow second quarter, just 11-7 in the second quarter. But that first quarter, that had some energy to it. Kent State was up 14-13 at one point. Miami then ripped off a 12-1 run to close out the quarter. And that has really been the difference today. They were up 10 at the end of the quarter, now up 14. That's been the difference. Coming into some stat leaders now, Miami's scoring leader is Tamar Singer with 14 first-half points. A tremendous performance from her so far today. 6 of 9 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3. She's been really, really efficient today, as well as doing a great job in her point guard duties. But as discussed by Luke and Gavin, she hasn't had the same volume scoring role that we may expect from a leading point guard. She's had more of a facilitator role, but she's been able to play that role really well. Sit back and get assists, which she's also done today. She has 4 assists, which also leads the team. But she's able to come in and start scoring when she's needed to. She gets these spurts of high volume scoring, which we don't see that often. When we do, it's real sweet to watch, folks. For Kent State, the leading scorer is Maya Babbitt with just 7 points. Babbitt being limited by this Red Hawk defense, just as she was a week ago in Oxford. Just 7 points on 3 of 8 shooting, 0 for 3 from beyond the arc. Kent State only with 1 made 3, 1 of 8 from deep land. That is 12.5%, a poor statistic there to say the least. In the rebounding game, Riley Rishmiller is, as expected, the leader with 7 rebounds. In 15 minutes, she's also got 3 points, but in the rebound battle, she's done very well. And in the rebounding game for Miami, Amber Scalia is actually the leader with 4 rebounds. Amber Treader and Clara Gonzalez also with 3 each. Ilse DeFries has been limited to just 1 board, so she looks to turn that around in the second half. In the assist game, Tamar Singer is the leader with 4 assists. The floor general, commanding play out there. She's done a great job. The assist leader for Kent State is Deanna Gray with 2 assists. She had 8 assists in the last game against Western Michigan, has 2 in today's game. Just 3 assists for the entire Flashes roster. The other assist coming from Anna Campanelli, who has just the 1. Some defensive statistics for you. 4 steals and 3 blocks for Kent State. Tatiana Thomas with 1 of each. Riley Rishmiller with 1 of each as well. Defensive statistics for the RedHawks. 3 steals, 5 blocks. Treader with a steal and 2 blocks, and Ilse DeFries with 2 blocks of her own. So Amber Treader doing a nice job on the boards and on the defensive side. Into some team stats. Miami shooting at 38.7% from the field to Kent State's 22.6%. 46.2% is the 3-point mark to Kent State's measly 12.5. And in the free throw game, pretty close actually. Miami 6 of 7 for 85.7%. That is 6 of 7. And Kent State 7 of 8 for 87.5%. So solid free throw shooting for both sides. A combined 13 of 15 in this game. Some total team stats in the rebounding game. Miami up 22-21, but Kent State with 1 more offensive rebound, that being 4-3. Miami with 8 assists to Kent State's 3. Kent State with 10 turnovers to Miami's 8. Points off of turnovers. Miami with 15 to Kent State 6. The turnovers, of course, Kent State only winning that battle. Losing that battle by 2, but Miami winning the points battle by 9. So Kent State has to shore that up, or is to stop turning the ball over. Either one would work. Points in the paint, though, Kent State is leading that 12-10. Only 3 points from Riley Rishmiller. One of them being the only one being a 3. So she has not had a big paint impact on this one. So Miami's done a good job of limiting her in the paint. However, still losing the points in the paint battle 12-10. In terms of the foul game, with 2 fouls for Kent State, Emery Klatt has 2. Then 5 with 1 personal foul for the RedHawks. 2 with 2 personal fouls, those being Treader and Nuria Herho. Then 5 RedHawks with 1 personal foul each. That makes for 9 personal fouls for Miami, 7 for Kent. Looking around now, at halftime in the SWAC quarterfinal, Alabama A&M tied with Florida A&M 30-30. Florida A&M came in this game at 9-21, Alabama at 21-9. So an upset brewing in the SWAC. As the second quarter gets started in the Southland semifinal, McNeese up 18-13. The Cowgirls up on the Vaqueros. 12, just about getting started now. South Carolina State and Howard at 12:30. Delaware and Louisiana Tech at 1 o'clock. Florida Atlantic and North Texas. Those will be the 3 that get started during the second half of play here in Cleveland. Then, of course, at 1:30, Ohio and Central Michigan square off in their own quarterfinal of the SMAC tournament. With about 7 minutes to go until the start of the second half, some keys to the second half for me. For Kent, they've got to shoot the three-pointer better. I mean, 12.5% is an absolutely abysmal mark. That has to get better, or they just have to stop shooting the 3-ball. They're down 14, so they can't really have that as an option. They've got to start making their threes, and they just have to start shooting better as a whole. Only 22.6% from the floor, 7 of 31. That number has to get better if they want to have a say in this game, or they will go quietly. Their feathers will be plucked, and the Flashes will go home. They're shooting the free throws really well. They're doing fine in the rebounding game. Only down by 1 in total rebound. They're doing well in the offensive glass, up by 1 there. Riley Rissmiller has got to get involved in the scoring game, though. Her only points are a three-pointer. She's got to get involved in the paint. Kent State is already winning the points in the paint battle, 12-10. How do you think that would change if a 6'4" center is scoring points in the paint down there and getting herself involved? That's going to change for the better for Kent State, going to give them control of the low battle, as Treader and DeFries are only combined for 5 points. 5 points and 4 rebounds between the two of them. Rissmiller with 3 points and 7 rebounds just herself. So she's got to get more involved down there in the post. That will help Kent State find their way back into this game. For Miami, they've got to keep doing what they're doing. They're having good possessions. At times, they're getting a little sloppy in transition, which is something that on a few past pregame and halftime shows I've said they need to iron out. They've gotten a little better at it as the season has progressed, but still have some problems, especially in high-octane transition when they're trying to flip the court on a steal, which, of course, they do get many of. 3 steals for them, 1 each from Singer, Treader, and Herho. When they get defensive turnovers or even just defensive rebounds, they're trying to go quick in transition. That's fine. You got to make sure the passes are on the money, because if they're not, then you're just giving the ball away. And at that point, the turnover doesn't really end up mattering. Another thing for Miami to focus on is the fouls. They've got 9 personal fouls, 2 RedHawks with 2 fouls, those being Treader and Herho. That's got to change if they want to stay in this game. Keep 2 starters out of foul trouble, already with 2 fouls for 2 starters. Limiting the turnovers will also be a big thing. They are winning the turnover battle, but still, Tamar Singer with 3 turnovers, Treader with 2. That has to change as well. They've done well keeping possession of the ball throughout these days, throughout these games, throughout the contests that they've played. They've done well limiting their turnovers. However, they need to continue to do that, as Kent State's perimeter defense is only going to get more and more aggressive as they try to poke the ball away and cause some havoc back there. That's going to do it for me on the halftime show with 4 minutes to go until the second half. You'll hear from Luke West Poley and Gavin Stark for the second half. And then I, Jake Zirolli, will join you again for the post-game show when this one goes final. Miami up 36-22. How will this one finish? Will the RedHawks advance, or will the Flashes find themselves in the semifinals? I will see you in post-game. I will give it to Gavin and Luke for the second half in just a minute or two, so stick around. Don't go anywhere.
Headed into the third quarter from Rocket Arena with the score Miami 36 and Kent State 22. Luke West Poley, Gavin Stark back with you. Kent State, the preseason favorite to win the conference. Miami, the team that's put themselves in position now as the 1 seed here at the MAC tournament. And Gavin, Miami shooting the lights out from 3. Kent State 1 for 8 from beyond the arc, 7 for 31. That's 22.6% from the field. And again, we talked about it coming out, but really if Miami can get going offensively, continue to do what they did on the defensive end, it will likely be through their bigs, and Amber Treader and Ilsa DeFries, who had just 5 first-half points. Amber Scalia and Tamar Singer combined for 22 of Miami's 36. But all in all, you're putting in half the work right now, and now you've got a chance to maybe pull away here in the first few minutes of this second half.
Yeah, and you talk about the 2 bigs. I mean, that's what really changed the difference of last Wednesday's game. I hate to bring up last Wednesday's game once again, but when those 2 bigs went off in the third quarter, they were lights out in the third quarter, and that's really when Miami took over that game and really just ran away with it. And the fourth quarter was a much more laid-back quarter where the RedHawks could kind of relax and soak in the victory and clinching of the MAC regular season championship.
Miami in the white uniforms from left to right. Kent State blue uniforms going from right to left. We're underway in the third quarter with Miami starting on the offensive end, and it's controlled out top by Nuria Herho. Swung around the arc to the near side. Scalia open tray. Line drive short off the front rim. Rebound picked up by Maya Babbitt in space for Kent State. Threads it ahead for Campanelli. Up to the baseline for Thomas. She puts it back outside for Riley Rissmiller high left. Rissmiller hands off for Deanna Gray. Pulling the ball overhead. Gray switched shoes at halftime. She's wearing bright blue ones after wearing bright red in the first half. Handoff on the left side. Babbitt cuts across, pulls up from the elbow, partially blocked by Treader. Ball loose on the floor. Treader had it for a moment. It was punched free by Tatiana Thomas, but she stepped on the baseline as she went after the loose ball. Possession back to Miami 44 seconds into the third quarter. Nobody scored yet. Miami went about 2 minutes without scoring to end that first half. Ilsa DeFries controls from the left angle extended, and now it's Tamar Singer from the same spot. Tried to throw a pass across. Got deflected on its way through twice. Ended up touching Babbitt and going out the near corner. So an inbound from there for Amber Scalia. Looking and lobs it out near half court, right at Deanna Gray, who steals it away. Gray leads the pass ahead for Thomas down the right wing, and she cuts it to the cup, gets fouled as she missed the layup, but she's headed to the free throw line.
And just a sloppy pass there by Scalia. I mean, you got to throw a little bit more mustard on that basketball and it gets there, but lobs that one, puts too much air underneath it. It gets picked off, and they're down on the other end now shooting 2 free throws because of it.
Tatiana Thomas bangs in the first free throw, 61% for the line this year, and that's Amber Treader's 3rd foul. She's 0 for 5 from the field, including 0 for 2 from 3 as Thomas makes the second free throw, but has affected the game defensively. 4 boards, a steal, and 3 blocks, a game high. But Treader staying in the game here with 3 fouls, and Miami just passing the ball up top, gives it away under virtually no pressure. Herho was looking for Singer, and she just lost the ball. So it's back to Kent State. They've got a chance to cut this maybe back to single digits just over a minute into the second half.
And now the RedHawks have matched Kent State on turnovers, both sitting at 10.
Deanna Gray, right angle extended. Bounces to the low post for Rissmiller, trying to shoulder her way in. She lost the ball. It's picked up by Clara Gonzalez, who's tripped up. Rather, that's Nuria Herho on her way up the floor. And she's fouled by Tatiana Thomas. So 36-24 Miami. Thomas picks up her second foul. Singer brings it into the front court, threw it off the leg of Thomas, and it's a kickball. Just a choppy start. Minute 40 into the third quarter. Miami leads by a dozen. Inbound from the right wing. Glenn Box claps his hands as he leans back against the scores table. Laid back as ever here in postseason play. Singer scoops it across for Nuria Herho, her left wing, 3 blocked. Campanelli got a hand on it. Now it's Babbitt. Straight line down the right side. Chest pass Gray up top. She ran into her defender. That's Scalia. She's called for the blocking foul. Picks up her second. And, man, outside of Kent State potentially just coming out of the locker room shooting the lights out, this is really an unideal start for Miami in this third quarter. As the ball's bounced in up top for Deanna Gray. Hands off for Campanelli. Ball punched away from her, but right to Thomas in the far corner, and she nails the three. So right to Thomas, and she's got 8 points. Miami pushing now. DeFreeze left wing three. Circles the rim. Rebound secured by Deanna Gray. Heads down the left flank. Puts it back up top. Right wing three. Hoisted up by Rissmiller. That's too strong. And on the rebound, again, DeFreeze tripped up by Thomas. She's called for the foul, and that's her third. Just kind of a couple silly ones there from Tatiana Thomas. Similar looking plays where she picked up her last couple fouls, chirping up Nuria Herho going back up the floor. She promptly checks out of the game. 36-27, Miami leads with 7:32 to go, third quarter. Herho finds herself alone on the right wing. Now the pressure closes out. She gets it inside for Singer. Back out Herho, straight away Trey. Doesn't fall. Rebound touched by two players, one for each team, out of bounds. And after deliberation, it's Miami basketball.
And what a polar opposite start to this second half than what we ended the first half on. I mean, it was all Miami as we headed into the half, and since the start of the second half has started, Kent State has intercepted passes, deflected passes, and been all over the ball. They've been real pests, and it's really bothering Miami's offense.
And on cue in the inbound, Campanelli swipes the pass out of bounds. So another deflection. Half the shot clock left as Miami gets it back in. Bounced to Treader, right elbow. Pushes it out for Taylor straight away. Now it's Singer cutting directly across. Lays it up through the traffic and in. And a whistle. And is it a turnover under the basket by Kent State? I don't know what just happened there. Miami's got the ball back.
You cannot afford to do that if you were Kent State. Trying to go on a little bit of run to really dig back into this game, and you turn it over inbounding it.
Miami goes quick on the inbounds pass, try to catch and shoot for Treader, and she missed it, and now a foul called underneath. And that's Treader's fourth foul.
That's a stab right into the back if you are Miami. This is a painful one to see Treader, your captain, go down for a little bit. I mean, she's going to probably sit for the majority of this third quarter.
First team all-league player forced to sit the bench for Miami, leading by 11 with 6:53 to go in the third quarter. Treader with 4 fouls. Gray dribbling with the left hand, spins and bounces it high post right for Bianca Juzo. She hands it off now for Maya Babbitt. Back to the inside for Juzo. Touch pass to the left lane line. Clack pushes it up and in. A lot of off-ball movement there for Kent State. Didn't take many dribbles once they got the set rolling. They've got it back within 9. DeFreeze straight away, finds Herho alone for a second. Now it closes out. She blows by, kicks to the corner. Sakano inserts back to the post for Macy Taylor. Wraps her out of the restricted area. High ball to the outside, deflected out of bounds. Nearly caught Nuria Herho on its way out, but Deanna Gray did get a fingertip on it in the corner for Kent State. 15 left to shoot for Miami as they inbound from the right side in front of Glenn Box.
And Nuria Herho made her first shot, but since then has missed 8 in a row, and you can see the confidence is dwindling from her as she has given up yet another open 3 ball.
Freeze back out for Herho. Shot fake, up top Singer with 6 to shoot. Drives straight through the traffic and gets fouled as she crossed the right elbow. Fouls on Campanelli. She picks up her second, and that is a bailout for the Golden Flashes as it gives Miami a fresh 20 seconds to shoot. Amber Scalia checks back into the game for Macy Taylor for Miami. Scalia going to inbound the ball. Scalia slaps the ball and pushes it out for Tamar Singer, who bounces it straight away for Scalia. Comes off a screen left, hesitates, now runs to the bucket. Ball stripped free by Hauser, and out of bounds as those two collided. Hauser stripped the ball free, going airborne And then Scalia, who's now a little shaken up, went down to the ground and kind of got rolled up on. And she's holding her right elbow as Scalia slammed down on the hardwood. The possession stays with Miami. Little surprise there as Hauser went down pretty hard too, but she bounced right back up. Inbound comes to Singer high right. Good crossover move. Jump stop in the lane and threw it up too hard. Rebound controlled by the Golden Flashes, and Babbitt running it up the floor, and Singer fouled her, trying to pressure up on the ball. And the Kent State fans trying to make a little noise, give the Golden Flashes some mojo here, as Miami's just fouled for the 4th time in this quarter with still nearly 6 minutes left in it. 38-29 Miami, 5:43 to go as Kent State takes it from right to left, and Corinne Hauser dishes it to the left elbow. Hauser, formerly on the McCall freshman team, lifts up a long three from the corner of the logo, slides off the left side of the rim. Offensive rebound from Hildebrand, bang back to the inside. Physical take to the basket, though, falls short. Scalia brings it up for Miami, and she gets fouled just shy of the half-court line. Bianca Juzo picks it up there. And that's the 4th foul now on Kent State.
A much different style to the start of this second half as well. I mean, this third quarter has been a lot of stoppage and inbounding due to fouling and just losing the ball out of bounds, turnovers. I mean, a much slower quarter so far compared to those first 2 quarters.
Miami's only scored 2 points so far in the first 4 minutes and change of this quarter. Herho wide open, left wing three, in and out. And a rebound on the strong side, snared by Hauser. Hauser traverses up the floor. Stops on the left wing to hand off for Hildebrand. Backs it out straight away, now spins into the lane, working against Scalia, leans in, tosses it up outside the lane on the right side, doesn't fall. Rebound tap back to her, hangs up from 5 feet and draws the foul as the shot clanged off the front side of the rim. And that brings us to a timeout on the floor. Kent State with 7 points in this third quarter already. That matches all the points they had in the second. Miami only scoring 2 points in the opening 5:04 of quarter number 3. We'll step aside from Rocket Arena in downtown Cleveland, Ohio, as first round action at the Mid-American Conference continues next with the score Miami 38 and Kent State 29. You're listening to Miami Basketball on Red Hawk Radio. With 4:56 left in the third quarter, the score Miami 38 and Kent State 29. Alongside Gavin Stark, Luke West Poley with you. Kent State headed to the free throw line. Journey Hildebrand set to take the shots. So again, Kent State has outscored Miami 7-2 in this quarter. We're over halfway through it here in the third. First shot put up by Hildebrand gets an unlucky, then lucky bounce as it popped down and then fell through the strings. Hildebrand's got 3 points. Twists the ball, throws the second one up in the air. Second one falls out on her, so she stays with 3. All coming from the free throw line, by the way, as the lead is down to 8 for Miami, once as high as 16. Amber Treader still sitting the bench with 4 fouls. And Amber Scalia now controls high left. Scalia surveys in front, shimmies, finds a freeze, left side 3, put up in the air, clangs off the inside of the rim. And the rebound pulled down by Maya Babbitt on the block. Juzo now hands off on the left wing for Journey Hildebrand. Hildebrand tried to give it up top for Hauser. It was jarred free for a second by Herho, raked off the deck by Hauser, works her way through the traffic, got bumped, twisted around, threw a shot over her head that slammed off the backboard, no good. But a foul whistled against Ashton Ely of Miami. She picks up her first, and Kent State to cut this to 2 possessions with Corinne Hauser at the free throw line, who is 93% for the year.
And you've got to give so much credit to Kent State here. You know, the resiliency really flashing for the flashes here in the start of the third quarter, because this has just been ultimately impressive. It looked like Miami was going to have an opportunity to really run away with this game to start off the third quarter and close it out early. Kent State has had other things in mind here.
Hauser goes 1 out of 2 and misses the second at the free throw line, but Ilsa DeFries knocked the ball out of bounds going for the rebound. And so it's back to Kent State ball trailing by 7. Hauser inbounds from the left wing, gets it back on the handoff, short corner left, shimmying back and forth, cuts across the lane, lost the ball, it falls right to Thomas on the right elbow, backing in, whips it back outside on the left wing, looking for Hauser, but it's out of reach and out of bounds. And Kent State turns it over. Keep in mind, this is a Golden Flash team under 10th year head coach Todd Starkey. They're just a couple seasons removed from an NCAA tournament bid, so this team knows how to win. They were picked to win the league again this year. Singer has it for the right elbow, finds Scalia, deepest 2 she could take in the right corner, she hits it. Feet were planted firmly on the line, but Amber Scalia will take the bucket. She's into double figures, Miami's second player with 10 or more. 40-31 RedHawks, as it's trying to push up quickly by the Golden Flashes, and Babbitt's up and under, hits off the bottom piping of the backboard. A heavy collision on the pursuit for the ball, and Tatiana Thomas went down hard, but she picks up the foul. And so with the score, Miami 40 and Kent State 31. Thomas exits the bench with a trainer, and I think she's likely entering into concussion protocol as she got whipped down there, but did get called for the foul. Would likely have exited anyway at this point. She just picked up her 4th. Tamar Singer walks the floor. She's at the free throw line and drains the first shot. She's one of Miami's best free throw shooters, second in the MAC at 87% among qualified foul shooters. Second one up and in for Singer. And that restores the lead back into double digits as Singer's got 18 points for Miami, 42-31, the Red Hawk lead. Career high for her is 25 in the game against Ball State. She's on watch for that here today. Klatt cuts it straight across the paint, tossed it up with 2 hands, didn't go, but got her own miss and cleaned it up from the right side. 42-33 Miami. Gonzalez controls from the left, just takes the 3 and wedges it off the left side of the rim, but an offensive rebound by Singer in space. She goes up the baseline from right to left, up and under, doesn't go. Kick out though off the offensive rebound, a freeze open 3, measured that one short. And on the rebound, a foul against Miami, as Campanelli got trapped against the baseline. And Miami was trying to get her to either tiptoe back onto that baseline or just turn the ball over in some way. They foul her instead. Fouls on Clara Gonzalez. And I believe the officials are going to the monitor here to look at a potential flagrant foul, as I believe it was either Gonzalez or Tamar Singer, the two players trapping for Miami. One of them got hit up high as Campanelli tried to clear out space for herself. Looked like she caught an elbow to the jaw, and so because of that, the officials will take another look. Call on the floor is a common foul against the RedHawks, but looking at a potential flagrant against Kent State. They've sent both teams to their benches. 2:54 to go here in the third quarter. And Miami leads at 42-33. Jake Zirolli is your postgame to get our coverage wrapped up for today, but plenty more for you here this weekend, starting with Miami men's basketball tomorrow and the much-awaited 3 games in 3 days for 8 teams vying for a MAC championship begins tomorrow. RedHawks, #1 team in the regular season, taking on 8th-seeded UMass,
who's given them fits a little bit. Both games that they've played this season have came down to the last 4 minutes of play, and especially thinking back to that one at Millett Hall where the students' first game back on campus for this semester. That was a tight one that came down to the last shot.
Yeah, it came right down to the end, and in a fashion that we've seen unfold a few too many times, I would say, this year. Miami missed a free throw that could have iced the game, kept it within 2 points, and then UMass ran down the floor and missed a heave from just past half court that would have won it.
Sounds familiar. I mean, I think we just watched that happen twice last week in both games. They've won their last 3 games by 2 points each game. It's just been a team of destiny type of thing as of recently, especially. This team just finds a way, but so do this women's team. They have found ways to win, a little bit more dominant in some of their wins than the men's team has been at times, but both teams looking for trips to the NCAA tournament.
And by the way, we just got an announcement that they have upgraded the foul. So that foul for Clara Gonzalez still stands. Unfortunately, they can't take that away. So she still picks up her first, but it's a foul against Campanelli, I believe, for a flagrant. And that's her third. So Miami will get some free throws. Both teams are in the bonus here in the third quarter, so I think both teams will shoot here. 2:54 remains in the third. Miami 42, Kent State 33. Scoreboard is showing Kent State with all 4 timeouts and Miami with 3. I don't think that's correct, as both coaches are getting explanations. Winner of this moves on to face the winner of Ohio and Central Michigan, which is the next game on deck, and that could be a handful for Miami. I know a lot of people may be looking ahead to potentially seeing Ball State on the other side of the bracket as Campanelli's coming out of the timeout. She's alone on the line taking free throws. Rattles in the first one and now gets a second one. Puts it up and in. So Miami will now get shots on the other side and I believe also get the balls. It's 42-35 Kent State. Tamar Singer will take the shots. But, I mean, you've got an OU team that just beat you, pretty good. And then a Central Michigan team that you handled. As Tamar Singer puts up the first shot and gets a really unfriendly roll. But they just got, as announced earlier, Maddie Morrison, who's the MAC Player of the Year this year. So tough matchup either way for whoever comes out on top in this one. Singer buries the second free throw. Miami gets the ball now leading by 8 with 2:54 to go in the third quarter.
Yeah, both of those teams at 4 and 5, both very confident that they can make it to the finals in that championship game ultimately. Those are 2 teams that are playing very, very well.
Singer off the crossover, dishes to the near side. Herho passes up a 3, steps in the arc, takes a long 2, and nails it. Lead back up to 10. And good to see Herho shake a little bit of those struggles. She was 2 for 11, make it rather 1 for 10 from the field prior to that make. Now 2 for 11 on the game. 45-35 Miami in front of Kent State. 2:26 to go, third quarter. Bounce pass on the far flank. Hit a RedHawk foot. That was Clara Gonzalez. She kicked it. So the Golden Flashes inbound from the right side baseline. Shot clock resets to 20. More fans beginning to file in here, which is typical of the first game, as the inbound goes to Babbitt for the right short corner. She knocks down the mid-range J.
Both teams answering each other now as we stick around that 8 to 10 point margin.
Singer barrels down the right side, dumps it off for Gonzalez, who lays it up and in, but it's an offensive foul against Tamar Singer as she got rid of that pass. Singer went down the right side with a full head of steam, mowed over a Golden Flash defender as she gave that to Gonzalez, who was wide open underneath. But an offensive foul, the third foul on Tamar Singer. Also her 5th turnover, which has been a problem. Had as many turnovers as assists over the last 2 games, which for a player that's second in the MAC in assist-to-turnover ratio is not normal. Back to Kent State, 45-37, Miami in front. Golden Flash possession. Babbitt, right angle extended to the outside, holds overhead. Passes to the top for Hauser. Hauser jabs, 5 on the shot clock, steps to the left elbow, pulls up into Free's face. Shot rattles off, rebound tipped though by Klatt to herself, and she finds herself wide open underneath to put it in. Lead down to 6, 93 seconds to go, third quarter. DeFries works up to the short corner right. Throws it up top for Gonzalez. Handoff for Amber Scalia, left side of the key. Now back out for Tamar Singer as Glenn Box calls a play for the bench. Now Nuria Herho between the rings. Wants help, finds it by way of Scalia with 5 on the shot clock. To the short corner left for DeFries. Finds a cutting Gonzalez who laid it up, but it rolls off the iron. Great look at the doorstep for Miami. They can't finish. Campanelli pushing. Slithers through. Kicks out. Klatt was left alone. She really thought about that 3, but pulls it back down to her hip. Under a minute to go, third quarter. Jarred free from Hauser. She pulls it back off the floor, goes up and under, and gets the foul and the finish.
Kent State, what a quarter out of them. They're going to chance to make this a 1-possession game here if the free throw is knocked down by Hauser. This is just impressive work by Kent State.
Corinne Hauser at the free throw line to try and complete the old-fashioned 3-point play. Golden Flashes have outscored Miami 19-9 in this quarter. Free throw tossed up and right through by Hauser. 45-42, Miami leads with 49.4 seconds remaining. RedHawks lead has not been this small since the early stages. Gonzalez shimmies, gives to the left side for Scalia. Now to the right wing, it's Singer taking it all the way to the bucket, laid it up short. Rebound picked up by the Golden Flashes. Campanelli ahead, bounces for Gray. Shot and game clock separated by 5 seconds. Kent State trailing by 3. They could tie it near the end of this third quarter. Gray backs into the circle. She's got Gonzalez on her. Bounces to the high right post for Babbitt. It was punched down to the ground, but she picks it back up, finds her teammate Campanelli to circle, but she laid it up and missed the shot. Miami's got the rebound, and with 7 seconds to go, it's brought into the front court by Singer straight away. Singer drives down the left side, scoops it up and in with the right hand, and a lackluster third quarter comes to an end for Miami with the basket to, at the very least, stretch it back to 2 possessions. Second time at a quarter break we've seen Tamar Singer take matters into her own hands with a buzzer-beating layup, and that will take us to the fourth quarter of play. Kent State, right in their backyard, putting up a fight here in this third quarter. They cut the lead all the way down to 5, and we've got a great game here in the Mid-American Conference Tournament opener between Miami and Kent State. RedHawks 47, Golden Flashes 42 to the fourth. When we come back, you're listening to Miami Basketball on RedHawk Radio. Fourth quarter coming up here from Rocket Arena. Miami leading Kent State 47-42 as the top seed. Golden Flashes looking to pull off a stunner of an upset to get this tournament started. They have worked their way back from a 14-point halftime deficit. They've got the ball coming out. Amber Treader is onto the floor with 4 fouls for Miami. Missed much of that third quarter after picking up number 4. That was when Kent State went on a lengthy run to get this back down as far as 1 possession. And off the inbounds, Corinne Hauser comes off the handoff, heads down the left side, lays it in with the contact. Gets the foul and the finish, and Hauser's got another and 1 chance here with a shot to cut the lead to 2, just 9 seconds in to quarter number 4.
And you couldn't ask for a better first possession to start off the fourth quarter if you're Kent State.
And Hauser connects on the free throw. 47-45, Miami continues to lead, but Hauser up to 9 points has really helped will her team back to this game. 2-point RedHawk lead. Herho holding right angle extended, finds Treader at the right elbow, gives all the way across for Scalia in the corner, works her way to the paint, runs into a defender there, tosses up a shot, block foul called. It's against Hauser, and Amber Scalia is headed to the free throw line. Hauser picks up her second, and Scalia, who's 80% this season, makes her second trip to the line, 2 for 2 the first time she went there. Scalia tosses up the first shot and rattles it in. Went under double figures in back-to-back games to end the year. First time that happened since the first 2 games of the MAC season for Scalia as she connects on both free throws. But a really nice job to rebound here today after a rough end to the regular season in her senior year. She's got 12 points and 5 rebounds, including a couple of made threes. Back to a 2-possession game. Hauser stop and go, lost it at the right block as she headed towards the bucket. Picked up off the ground by Herho, kicks out, Singer right wing 3, off the iron, tipped, and a foul called going for the rebound against Ilse DeFries of Miami.
Ilse DeFries battles for that rebound, but it's almost like she was just out of position on that one. No need to even go for that, and she picks up an unnecessary foul here early in the fourth.
And that's DeFries' fourth. So both of Miami's primary forwards with 4 fouls and still over 9 minutes to play as the RedHawks lead it by 4. Left side, Hildebrand was open for a second, sidesteps, triggers along 2, missed it too far to the right. Rebound picked up by Nuria Herho, and Miami may be advantaged to slow this down a little bit. At least try to buy some more time for their bigs to stay in the game before Kent State inevitably goes at them here. Scalia from up top. Dishes for Treader on the right side. Got a good look, missed it, but an offensive rebound bracketed by 3 Kent State defenders. She rises amongst the trees to put it back in. 6-point Miami lead. The RedHawks pick up pressure. Inbound goes to Thomas. Pressure releases off for the RedHawks as Hauser brings it up the floor. Hauser finds Babbitt on the left wing. Babbitt holding by her right shoulder. Overhead feed to the right side for Rissmiller. Into the post it goes for Thomas. She races by her defender. Threw it up. Doesn't go. RedHawks have the rebound. Singer bounces ahead for Scalia down the right side, and she gets fouled as she laid it up no good. But got hit hard. Scalia ran into the support of the basket. She has been battered and bruised so far this afternoon. But Scalia is headed back to the free throw line and a chance to get it to an 8-point Miami lead as she scared some RedHawk faithful. She was keeled over for a second, just tying her shoe now as she heads to the free throw line.
And coming into this game, we talked about that front court that Miami threatens between Treader and DeFries, but tonight it's been the back court between Scalia and Singer. Scalia just now up to 13 after nailing that first free throw, and then Singer with 21. These two have been phenomenal.
And Scalia connects on both foul shots. She's 6 for 6 from the line. She's got 14 points, now surpassing her season average. Postseason basketball time for Amber Scalia, the transfer from St. Thomas. And came to Miami because she said she wanted to play for a team that was going to win and figured this RedHawk team would do that. Chance to play some meaningful basketball here in the month of March. 8-point Miami lead, under 8 to play. Hauser shuffling around. And what have we here? A whistle and a foul against Miami's Mio Sakano on the inside. And it's another difficult foul to swallow for the RedHawks as it appeared Hauser was about to travel with the basketball there, but instead she puts it in short corner right for Klatt. Faces up to the basket, heads into the paint, turning around onto Freeze, who kept her hands straight up, and it's thrown too high by Klatt. RedHawks race it the other way, and now Singer down the right side off the feed from Scalia. Catches and lays it all in one motion. Lead back to 10 for Miami with 7:35 to play. Thomas slashes across to the MAC logo. Got the ball jarred free, has it back, finds Hauser, who takes a tour underneath the three-point arc. Shimmies, pivots, tossed up, an off-balance shot from the left side that she missed short. Missed everything, in fact, and the RedHawks have the rebound.
These next few minutes, huge in this one, as Miami has a big opportunity here to grow this lead from 10 to even more, maybe 13 or 12 here.
7:04 to go in the game. Miami 55, Kent State 45. Singer straight away. Lobs it into the post for DeFreeze. Collides with her defender. Put it 2 hands off the glass. No good from 2 feet away, but it's knocked out of bounds by Babbitt on the rebound. And you can see the idea there from Anna Campanelli. She was trying to draw that charge, trying to get Ilse DeFreeze out of the game, and the officials let it play on. Fortunately for Miami, unfortunately for DeFreeze, couldn't make a simple bucket there, which has been an issue at times for Miami, finishing at the rim. So the RedHawks check Amber Treader back onto the floor. Miami inbounds for Singer on the right wing. She bounces straight away for Scalia. Step back three. Grazes the bottom of the strings and just bounds out of bounds.
Almost looked like that one was grazed by fingertips, but it's going to go Kent State's way. I mean, you talked about Treader and DeFreeze, you know, driving in there and Kent State trying to take that charge. They have to be aware enough these next few minutes that every time they're driving down into the rack that these players are going to be stepping in, trying to take charges. You got to be aware of those things and be a little bit less physical.
6:39 to play, Miami by 10. Gray tarped all over on the right wing by Singer. Puts it inside, it's Thomas. Inside out, Campanelli drives down the right side of the paint. Lifted it up with the right hand, it doesn't go. Rebound picked up by Kent State and Klatt, and her putback attempt swatted by Ilse DeFreeze. It's out of bounds off of Miami. And possession stays with the Golden Flashes after the third block of the game for Ilse DeFreeze. Miami with 7 blocks as a team, the max leader in block shots. Ilse DeFreeze comes up with one there. Inbound goes into a crowded area on the left wing for Thomas. She runs it free, back between the circles, and hands off for Deanna Gray. Gray heads to the left angle, bounces it into the paint for Rissmiller. Rather, that's Klatt circling around, tried to jump up for the shot, and ran into DeFreeze, and she's called for the foul, and rather, they get Nuria Herho, actually.
I believe it was on the reach-in.
Yeah, it was the reach-in before that contact underneath the basket. So for DeFreeze, that was clean. Herho picks up the foul. That's Herho's 4th, but for Miami right now, it just seems like you're trying to just delay with this foul trouble as Herho comes off. Treader comes back on. A carousel of players with 4 fouls. As Emery Klatt's at the free throw line, tosses up the first shot, knocks it down, and she's the first Golden Flash into double figures, breaking a 3-way tie of players with 9 points.
3 starters for Miami with 4 fouls now. Treader, Herho, and DeFreeze all with 4. It's a big, big issue.
Klatt misses the second free throw. Rebound secured by Tamar Singer. Gonzalez back up to the MAC logo for Singer. Waves for help. Plays catch with DeFreeze. Singer high right. Finds Treader straight away. Straddling the three-point arc. Scoops out Gonzalez. 10 on the shot clock. From the key. Gonzalez finds Singer. Touch pass to the interior. Treader tried to turn around and put it in. She got fouled, though, on the floor before that shot came in. The foul's against Deanna Gray. Her second, third foul as a team for the Golden Flashes. So 1 more to give with 5:51 to go in the 4th quarter. Miami leading 55-46. Inbound nearly stripped away by Campanelli. Torn away from her by Tamar Singer. But the bounce pass into the post missed Treader, and the RedHawks give it back to Kent State. As Glenn Box is pleading for a foul inside, he thinks that Amber Treader got wrapped up there, and that's why she didn't catch that pass. But it's all for naught as the Golden Flashes take it from right to left. Under 6 minutes to play, and they trail it by 9. Gray head fake. One-hand pass for Klatt. Left elbow jumper, risen up, and falls off the backside of the rim. Rebound by Amber Treader in Miami. Lead pass Singer. Puts it into the post for DeFries, who tears it away from two defenders and turns around to poke it in. 57-46, Miami leads. Just 5 points for Ilse DeFries, but an important bucket to get it out to double figures again for the RedHawks with over 5 minutes to play. Approaching the media timeout window. Babbitt down the right side, threw it up, smothered by DeFries, but she stepped out of bounds after grabbing the rebound. DeFries grabbed it in play and then just ran out of real estate along the tightrope and stepped on the baseline. And again, Glenn Boxer just can't believe what he's seeing out there, as he thought that DeFries was pushed out of bounds. But 1 second shy of the halfway mark here in the fourth quarter. It's Kent State ball again from the right wing baseline. They trail by 11. Brief stoppage to mop up the floor along the right block. Hauser set to inbound, holding the ball in her left hand. Directing traffic with her right, now puts her right hand on the ball. Gotta get this in. She forces it in the right corner for Klatt. Klatt puts it back up top for Thomas. Thomas high ball to the left side for Campanelli. Campanelli works up the baseline, threw it up over to DeFries, got an unlucky bounce, and DeFries towers amongst the Kent State players for the rebound for Miami. Brought ahead by Tamar Singer. Glenn Box instructing his team to go slowly here. Gonzalez catches in the corner, cuts it all the way across, caught contact, and she's fouled as she went up for the shot. And that brings us to a timeout on the floor. Well, things got awfully scary on Miami there for a moment. They got both their bigs into foul trouble. Kent State had the lead down to one possession, but the regular season champions in the MAC had an answer when they needed it most. Lead back out to 11 with 4:34 to play in the fourth quarter. Kent State looking for a last-ditch effort. When we come back, you're listening to Miami basketball at the MAC tournament on Red Hawk Radio. .434 to go in the fourth quarter. A 10-2 run for Miami. has them back in front 57-46. After the lead got down to one possession, Clara Gonzalez at the free throw line, chance to extend upon his Miami advantage after Corinne Hauser picked up her 4th foul moments ago. Gonzalez tosses up the first free throw, and it rattles off. For 6th Man of the Year in Conference USA last season, Clara Gonzalez has come on strong. 16 points in the season finale for Miami, regular season finale, I should say, and she's been playing a ton of minutes today. She does bury the second free throw, just 5 points, but Gonzalez has had a healthy workload this afternoon. 4:34 remaining as Nuria Herho checks back on. Miami foul trouble. Herho, Treader, and DeFries all with 4. For Kent State, Tatiana Thomas with 4, but she's back onto the floor after taking a fall that sidelined her from the game for a bit. Hauser still out there with 4 as well. Right short corner, Campanelli couldn't get a shot away, had to run it to the far corner where Kent State resets up top. Hauser lobs it for Klatt at the free throw line, tried to turn it around, and stolen away by Tamar Singer of Miami. Singer got big eyes, I think, trying to thread that forward, but decided just to pull it back and holds onto the ball, dribbling the air out with under 4 minutes to play, and Miami leading by a dozen.
Smart move by Tamar Singer to just slow this one down, slow the tempo down. Don't start going until the 10-second mark.
DeFries holding overhead, just steps back and takes the 3. It clangs long off the back iron, but Scalia gets a hand on the rebound and deflects it out to Singer beyond the arc. Fresh 20 for Miami. Singer hasn't even put the ball on the deck yet. Now she finally does as 8 seconds have come off the shot clock. Shot clock down to 7. Sakano holding overhead. Finds Singer on the far side. Now it's DeFries barreling into the lane. Blocking foul called with 2.7 on the shot clock. And DeFries is headed to the line.
Emery Klatt tries to draw the charge there on DeFries to end DeFries' day, but blocking foul called, and DeFries now gets to shoot 2.
Freeze first trip to the line today, and Pure on the first free throw. Todd Starkey brings Caitlin Holmes to the scorers table. Miami 59, Kent State 46, second free throw pending. It's in the air, it is good. 60-46, Miami leads Kent State. They're now just 2 points shy of their largest lead of the game at 16, which came late in the second quarter. How about the steely this Red Hawk team has shown here in the fourth quarter? Kent State's got to have it right now as Caitlin Holmes circles the paint, heads down the right side, and lays it off the window and in. Blue past her defender. Golden Flashes pick up pressure in full court. Miami breaks it with a long pass up ahead, and Sakano drives all the way home to the bucket with a right-hand layup.
What beautiful vision there by Tamar Singer as she lobs that one up to Mio Sakano, and Mio Sakano finishes at the other end.
Back to a 14-point lead, 62-48. Miami with 2:50 to play. And on the crossover move, Caitlin Holmes traveled. And the Redhawks set to get the ball back here with 2:50 to play. Kent State's got to pick up pressure in full court as Miami brings Amber Treader back on for Mio Sakano, who now has scored in 5 straight games for the first time all year. So congrats to Sakano, the JUCO transfer from Japan. Redhawks use a 3-player unit, Singer with Herho and Treader to break the press, and it's Treader that had it up top, handing off now for Tamar Singer, who just dribbles out near the logo. 2:30 to play. 10 on the shot clock with Miami up 14. Treader catches in the far short corner. Spins to the hash, trying to put it up top. She double dribbled there as she gave out for Scalia, who, of course, after the whistle drilled the 3. And just a little confused there, I guess, for Amber Treader. Not something you see called in the college game very often, and a double dribble, but it gives it back to Kent State with 2:25 to go. Main point, though, for the Redhawks, she ran most of that time on the shot clock off.
Yeah.
So now Kent State takes it back into the front court with time not on their side. Babbitt puts it up top for Tatiana Thomas. Thomas back down low for Babbitt, who catches on the block and arcs it up and in. Lead down to 12 with 2:07 to go. Babbitt with 11. Miami's done really well, though, to slow her down here in the second half. Herho bounces off for Singer in the front court. Under 20 on the shot clock. Under 2 minutes to play as Miami leads by a dozen. Singer dribbling from left to right. Timeout called by Glenn Box. 14 left on the shot clock. Minute 54 left in the game. And that's Miami's first timeout of the ball game that they've used. And so Glenn Box has a chance to talk it over. Probably wanting to run about 10 seconds of the clock off before getting as good a look as possible. 62-50 Miami leads. Again, the winner of this game moves on to face the winner of Ohio and Central Michigan, which is the next game on the Rocket Arena floor this afternoon. And Maddie Morrison, the MAC Player of the Year, leading the Chippewas. And Ohio, a team with a disappointing year, but a team that showed what they could do first by nearly upending Ball State, which almost gave Miami the regular season title a game early before the RedHawks ultimately sealed it themselves by winning against these Golden Flashes on Wednesday. And, of course, Ohio beating Miami last week. 12-point lead. Sideline out of bounds from just past half court for Miami. Treader puts it in for Tamar Singer, who runs it away from two pressing defenders. Bounces it to the top of the key for Treader, and now it's Scalia left side of the key. 4 on the shot clock. Gives to the near side. 3 up for Singer. It rolls out. Good look there, though, for Singer. The rebound by Deanna Gray. Kent State pushing. Hauser on the right side. Sidesteps all the way up top. 90 seconds to play. Hands off Babbitt. Now it's Thomas left side of the key. Try to get back inside for Babbitt. She catches and puts it in. Same action we saw last time to get her points. Lead down to 10 with 1:20 to go as Kent State picks up pressure in the full court. Miami left the ball on the floor, but a kick ball is whistled. Looked like Miami would get to that loose ball anyway as Amber Treader was right there, but still a bit of a safety net there for the RedHawks to get that call. 1:19 to go, 25 on the shot clock with the RedHawks up by 10. Treader awaits. Looking to get it in and does find DeFreeze in the corner. Runs it past her defender, gave it away underneath. And Deanna Gray goes up and gets fouled by Treader.
Just the last thing you can do there. Last thing you can do is turn that ball over on the inbound, and they do exactly that. And then they also add a foul. Now Amber Treader's day has ended here with 1:15 left.
4 points, tough offensive day for Treader, but 6 rebounds and 3 blocks. Can't understate her presence on the defensive end, but she's fouled out for Miami with 1:15 to go. Mio Sakana with some big time on the floor coming up as the first free throw is up and in for Deanna Gray. Really good free throw shooter. Gray, though, with her first point of the game just now. 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. Miami has frustrated her today. She deposits the second free throw. That makes it an 8-point game with 75 seconds to go. Inbound goes to Tamar Singer. She finds Mio Sakano under the basket, and now Ilsa DeFreeze gives it across the timeline for Amber Scalia. Pressure releases off, and now Scalia just plays catch with Singer as we approach a minute to play. Scalia running it through the traffic in the front court. 10 seconds on the timer as it's held onto on the logo by Singer. She finds Sakano. Sakano back inside for DeFreeze, who's wide open but traveled as she cut to the rim. Oh, that was a great cut, and she got a feed that saw her catch the ball 2 feet from the basket with nobody around her, but just got a little bit discombobulated and traveled. That gives Kent State the ball back with 50 seconds to go, trailing by 8. Timeout Golden Flashes. Been on a 6-0 run.
Man, things couldn't go any worse for the RedHawks, and the travel gets called right there when they had a chance basically to wrap things up and zip it all up and move on to the semifinals right there. Now they're going to have to wait at least another possession to think that way, because you got to get a stop here on Kent State. 8-point game with 50 seconds left. It's a real big uphill climb, but it's still possible.
Both teams in the bonus. Possession arrow favors Miami. 50 seconds remaining, fourth quarter. As the Golden Flashes advance the ball and inbound in the front court. Off the catch, Rissmiller put it to the inside. And Campanelli puts it up and in. And now a timeout called by Glenn Box.
Kent State does exactly what they need to do there, too. They score within 4 seconds, and now it's a 2-possession ball game.
46 seconds remain. Beg your pardon, that was Emery Klatt on the assist for Kent State. Campanelli with 6 points and a timeout for the RedHawks. And now, if you're Glenn Box, this does pay really significant dividends that you kept all your timeouts until the final minutes here in the fourth quarter. Women's game is not like the men's. You get to keep all 4 and take them into the second half with you. Miami did, and that is big for the RedHawks down the stretch to advance the ball, get away from this Kent State pressure. 46.2 seconds remaining. Miami 62 and Kent State 56. And now, as well as this is gone, if you're Todd Starkey on this 8-0 run, you are in a bit of a pinch because Miami could run this pretty much all the way down to 15 seconds. And I'm not sure if Kent State will want to play that all the way out, or if they'll first try to trap for a couple steals and then elect to foul. Would be 2 shots for the RedHawks. Everybody on the floor is a good free throw shooter. Miami's a very good free throw shooting team, as are these Golden Flashes. Inbound from Scalia. She puts it into the backcourt for Singer, and the Golden Flashes foul immediately. That was not the plan, it looks like, based on the reactions as Corinne Hauser reached in, going for the steal. She picks up her 5th, and her day is done.
You just don't need to do it there. It's a 2-possession ball game with 45 seconds left. You do not need a foul on that inbound.
And now you put Miami's best free throw shooter, Tamar Singer, on the line for 2 shots. 23 points for Tamar Singer. First free throw up, and she left it short. Really need this one now to make it 3 possessions again. With that free throw miss now, she cannot tie her career high on this trip of 25. Second one up, second one through. Didn't think Singer would miss twice. Timeout Golden Flashes with 45.4 seconds left. Golden Flashes will advance the ball, and it's the full timeout for Todd Starkey. 7-point Miami lead, 63-56, as the RedHawks look to make it 3 wins this season over the Golden Flashes. No team had won more than 2 in a row against one particular opponent since 2021 in this series. Miami hoping that they can take all meetings against Kent State this year. 7-point ball game, and the Golden Flashes set to advance the ball, and Miami's playing without probably their second best rim protector, their best rebounder in Amber Treader. As the timeout concludes.
Between those two, Elsa DeFries and Amber Treader, 7 blocks combined, just an unbelievable number. But you know, foul trouble has been a huge factor in why Kent State was, first of all, able to climb back into this game, because Amber Treader missed a majority of that third quarter. And in the fourth quarter, you have to play different when you have 4 fouls. You just do, and that is exactly what's happened between DeFries with 4 and now Treader fouled out with 5.
So Kent State advances from the left wing. It's inbounded by Anna Campanelli. She throws it all the way across, looking on the far block for Klatt. It's deflected away, but picked up by the Golden Flashes. 3 lifted up by Babbitt. That doesn't go, and a tie-up going for the rebound, and possession favors Miami. So a scramble, and now another timeout called by the RedHawks. They've still got 1 left, as does Kent State. Nobody wanting to play with any sort of backcourt pressure here down the stretch. 63-56, the RedHawks lead. They've got the ball with 38.2 seconds to go. And again, if you're Kent State at this point, just because it is a 7-point game, you really need to get that steal. If you foul, it's really looking less likely, but you'll probably trap a couple of times. You can't let Miami run this all the way down. Both teams, by the way, ice cold from 3. Kent State going just 2 of 12 on the game. Miami started off well, but the RedHawks are 0 for 11 from beyond the arc of the second half. RedHawks have not made a 3-point shot after they went 6 for 13. Miami was scorching hot in the opening 20 minutes. Amber Scalia inbounds right to her coach's left. She's got 2 players guarding the inbound And Scalia throws it all the way across the floor where Sakano goes up high to catch it for the RedHawks. She bounces off for Singer, prodded at by 2 Kent State players, and Deanna Gray picks up the foul with 32.5 seconds to go. And now Singer has a chance to bid for a career high going to the free throw line.
What a great outing from her so far. 24 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals on 37 minutes of play.
Her shot up for Singer and through. So that ties the mark she set against Ball State. 25 points for Tamar Singer. And a chance for a player that has really been a centerpiece to this rebuild to secure a career high in the first round of the MAC tournament. But she won't as the free throw swirls off. Rebound to Maya Babbitt. Babbitt running it down the right side. Kent State trailing by 8. Babbitt stops her feet, right angle extended. Now it's Gray, bouncing it into the post. Thomas enters the paint, tosses it up over 2 defenders and in. Shot clock off with 20.4 seconds to go. Pressure picked up by the Golden Flashes. Glenn Box is screaming for a timeout, and finally it's granted. And Glenn Box has some unfriendly words for the officiating crew as he heads toward the huddle. He was trying to get that timeout off immediately, and Miami nearly got called for a 5-second because none of the officials noticed. Last timeout for the RedHawks, it's their full timeout. 20.4 seconds to go. As they flash the graphic up on the screen, Glenn Box, MAC Coach of the Year this season, and very well deserved for Miami's third-year leader.
He has been a huge, huge add to this Miami basketball program in general, men's and women's, because both coaches have obviously won that Coach of the Year award and really lifted their teams to new levels here at Miami University. It's just been so impressive what they've both just done with these players. Great recruiter in Glenn Box, too. He has really recruited well.
Miami with their first winning record last year since 2018. RedHawks back it up, winning 25 games in the regular season this year. That was a school record, not just for regular season wins, for wins, period. So Miami's just adding on to that with anything they can do now in the postseason. First regular season title in the MAC since 2004. Miami, the 1 seed here in Cleveland, and hoping to win their first conference championship since 2008 after their best MAC start ever. RedHawks inbound the basketball. Scalia puts it in for the freeze. Right back to Scalia, who just runs it around the front court. Kent State running around as Scalia hands off for Herho. She's fouled with 15.3 seconds to go. And Nuria Herho is headed to the free throw line. A player that does not shoot many free throws for Miami, but is a solid free throw shot. Herho has made both of her shots from the stripe today. Tosses up the first and gets a very difficult bounce on it. Miami 18 for 24 at the free throw line. Despite their woes here down the stretch, they started so well from the stripe that it's really leveled out on the game. Second free throw up and in for the freeze. She's got 8 points. Or rather, Herho, that is. Now a timeout called by Kent State, and that is the last one of the game for either team. So final ball advancement with 15.3 seconds to go. And if there are any rule committee members watching, maybe an argument for why you shouldn't take all 4 into the second half. But little timeout fest here. Never hurt anybody as the RedHawks lead it by 7. Gives these coaches a chance to get out the whiteboards. Only people I'm sure that are really frustrated about this end are the Central Michigan Chippewas and Ohio Bobcats, who were supposed to be on the floor warming up 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, but it's expected when you have back-to-back games. You know, you got to, whatever time you're told, probably add at least 10, 20 minutes to that time and also be ready to be out there quicker, need be.
So Kent State's got it in the front court. It's inbounded by Campanelli. She gives out for Babbitt, left wing 3. Off the inside of the rim, she follows her shot, gets her offensive rebound. Second effort put up in Sakano's face, doesn't go. Loose ball and a tie-up to Kent State with 5 seconds remaining. And I think now Miami can finally exhale here as Kent State rushes Riley Rissmiller up to the scorer's table. She checks in for Emery Klatt. Maybe one final chance to get a shot up as Deanna Gray inbounds, holding the ball in front of her jersey numbers. Gives to the far side. Campanelli hoists a three. It doesn't go from the right side. Hits off of Deanna Gray underneath and out of bounds. RedHawks got the last touch on it, actually, though, so it's still with Kent State with 1.9 seconds remaining. Gray from the right wing, holding the ball by her hip, inbounds out near half court. One final time, intercepted by Herho. Chucks up a half court shot for good measure at the end, but that's it. The Miami RedHawks survive a bit of a scare in the third quarter. RedHawks faltered with some foul trouble. Amber Treader and Ilse DeFries picked up 4 fouls early. Kent State rallied from a 14-point deficit to cut the lead all the way down to 1 possession after trailing by double figures at the half. But Miami ultimately, when things looked most grim, completely 180'd and pulled away to down the preseason favorites here in Cleveland and end Kent State's season just like they did to the RedHawks last year. Your final score in MAC quarterfinal action, top-seeded Miami 65 and 8th-seeded Kent State 58. Offensively, a lot left to be desired for Miami. That will, I'm sure, be the target of Glenn Box and the staff's efforts over these next 2 days to get things remedied. But the main point is you did things built off your defense. You won the game. You got a chance with a day off tomorrow during the men's quarterfinals to really get a heavy scout in on either Central Michigan or Ohio. And you'll play for a chance to go to the MAC title game coming up on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And, you know, front court, a little bit of foul trouble, you know, causing some struggles for them to score it offensively. But the backcourt and Scalia and Singer really steps up today. The only 2 scorers in double figures are those 2 guards. And, I mean, it doesn't matter how you win when it's the postseason. It just matters if you win or not. And this team finds a way to win here. And now they get a day off tomorrow. They come back Friday morning for hopefully a chance, or well, not hopefully, there will be a chance for a trip to the finals on Saturday as well. So this team 1 win away from a championship game, but they're going to take it 1 day at a time. And like you said, a heavy scout tomorrow. Take advantage of that day off.
So Miami will take on the winner of the next game here on deck, Central Michigan and Ohio, the 4-5 game coming up on Friday. We will have that game for you here on RedHawk Radio with pregame coverage. Early bird action, 9:30 pregame start on Friday, and a 10 o'clock tip between, again, Miami and either Central Michigan or Ohio in the Mid-American Conference semifinals. So again, the RedHawks winners in game number 1 of the MAC tournament here today. Final score, Miami 65 and Kent State 58. Next time we are on the air is for quarterfinal action on the men's side. Number 1, Miami. Number 8, UMass. Pregame 10:30 tip-off, 11 a.m. tomorrow morning here from Rocket Arena in Cleveland, and we hope that you will join us then. So for Gavin Stark, I'm Luke West Poley, signing off on the day from Rocket Arena. We'll take a break. When we come back, Jake Zirolli has a RedHawk Radio post-game to get you finished up. RedHawks on to the semifinals. Thanks for tuning in to this presentation of MAC Tournament Miami Basketball on RedHawk Radio.
Post-game after Miami's victory in the quarterfinals of the MAC tournament, the RedHawks moving on to tomorrow. They survive and they advance. My name is Jake Zirolli. I'll be with you for post-game today. I was with you for pregame and halftime as well. Hang on 1 second. Luke and Gavin are trying to get by my chair, and there's not a lot of space up here at Rocket Arena. The media section is only so big. But let's get into some stat leaders now today. Tamar Singer is the Miami points leader with 25. A career day for her, tying her career high. 9 of 17 from the field, 2 of 6 from 3. A great game for the Israeli native. Really just a scoring masterpiece from Tamar Singer. I discussed this at halftime. She's not normally a large volume scorer, but today she was. She took on a different role today. The team needed something else. She still got her assists. She got 7, which is leading the team for today, but had to go take on a different role today and take on a scoring role, and she did exactly that, putting up 25. For Kent State, the scoring leader was Maya Babbitt with 13 points. Babbitt 6 of 17 from the floor, is 0 of 5 from 3. So not her best day. Part of the reason why the Golden Flashes will be going home. In the rebounding game, Miami's leader was actually Amber Scalia with 7. Amber Treader and Ilse DeFries both with 6. Tamar Singer and Nuria Herho with 5 apiece. Clara Gonzalez also adding 3 of her own. For Kent, rebound leader was Maya Babbitt again with 11. So a double-double for Babbitt. She'll leave this gym not feeling pleased after just 13 points. But a double-double for her is nothing to shake a stick at either. Riley Rissmiller with 8 rebounds. Deanna Gray with 5. In the assist game, Miami's leader is, of course, Tamar Singer with 7. Singer with 25, 5, and 7. A great stat line for Tamar Singer. 7 assists for her. The floor general, as always. The assist leader for Kent was Deanna Gray with 3. Tatiana Thomas also adding 2 assists. Some defensive numbers. Tamar Singer with 2 steals. Nuria Herho with 2 steals. Amber Treader with 3 blocks. Ilse DeFries with 4. For Kent, some defensive stars. Deanna Gray with 2 steals. And a bunch of Golden Flashes with 1 steal and 1 block. Moving across the scoreboard, foul trouble. 1 from each team would foul out today. Corinne Hauser with 5 fouls. She had a seat early. Amber Treader also with 5 fouls. 2 on each team with 4 fouls as well. Nuria Herho and Ilse DeFries with 4 for the RedHawks. Tatiana Thomas and Anna Campanelli with 4 for the Golden Flashes. Campanelli picking up a a flagrant foul as well. In the turnover battle, Miami won it narrowly, 17-16, committing 1 less turnover. Kent State won the rebound battle, 45-43, with 14 offensive rebounds to Miami's 9. In terms of the points off of turnovers, Miami won that 19-16. Points in the paint, Kent State won it 32-22. So pretty even in the points off turnovers. Ended up evening itself out essentially, but Kent State dominating in the paint with 32 points to Miami's 22. Something that it makes you wonder how exactly they lost the paint battle, as my stats are just gone from in front of me. That's great. Sorry about that, folks. We'll just switch to scores now as we close up this postgame. But either way, the rebounding battle, Kent State winning it by so much, by 10 rebounds. It makes you wonder how they weren't able to win this game, especially with the size advantage, but they just were not able to get back and convert those rebounds into points. So they will see themselves back to Kent. Could not win the game in their back garden. Unfortunate for the Golden Flashes, but Miami moving on to the semifinals tomorrow, where they will await the winner of Central Michigan and Ohio, both of which are formidable squads. Going into some scores around the country, McNeese is going to win the Southland Tournament semifinal over UT Rio Grande Valley, 67-52. Sorry, folks, I got still a little sick. I'm sorry about that. Yes, McNeese winning 67-52 in the Southland semifinal. The other Southland semifinal is also today, I believe. That is between Stephen F. Austin and Lamar at 2 o'clock, so I'll get started in about 40 minutes here. Currently going right now, South Carolina and Howard, South Carolina State that is, getting to the end of the third quarter. Howard up 54-33, so they should cruise to a win in the MEAC quarterfinal. In the Conference USA, Louisiana Tech up 37-18 at halftime on Delaware, so they should advance to the semifinal of this Conference USA. In the American, at the end of the first, North Texas up 19-12 on Florida Atlantic, so they should advance to the quarterfinals of the American. Looking at the rest of the slate at 1:30, Ohio and Central Michigan in the MAC quarterfinal. In the Coastal at 2 o'clock in the first round, UNC Wilmington take on the Huskies Northeastern. 2 o'clock, we said the Southland Tournament semifinal determines who will play McNeese in the final. Also at 2 o'clock, the MEAC quarterfinal, Delaware State, Maryland Eastern Shore. Jacksonville State and Florida International in the Conference USA quarterfinal at 3 o'clock. Also at 3 o'clock, the Big West first-round game between Cal State Northridge and Cal State Fullerton, the Matadors and the Titans. At 3:30, the American second-round Temple and UTSA. At 4 o'clock, the third MAC quarterfinal between Bowling Green and the second seed Ball State. At 5 o'clock, the Big Sky final, the big one today. Montana State and Idaho, a ticket will be punched. Will it be a Bobcat or a Vandal? Who will it be? At 5:30, in the SWAC quarterfinal, the Arkansas Pine Bluff Golden Lions take on Alcorn State. At 5:30, UC Riverside and UC Santa Barbara butt heads in the Big West first round, those being the Highlanders and the Gauchos in Henderson, Nevada. At 6 o'clock in the WAC first round, Utah Tech taking on UT Arlington. And then at 6:30, the final MAC quarterfinal, Toledo and Massachusetts. Miami advances to the semifinals. They will await the winner of the Central Michigan Chippewas and the Ohio Bobcats, which is next right here. We will not be with you for it. We will see you tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. is when we will start coverage for the Miami men's basketball team taking on UMass in the first round, the quarterfinals of the MAC tournament. We'll be back with you for that. My name is Jake Zirolli. Thank you so much for tuning in. Luke West Poley and Gavin Stark as well on the broadcast today. Thank you so much for tuning in to this victory for the Miami RedHawks. They advance. They will see you on Friday for the semifinal of the MAC women's tournament. Thank you very much for listening, and have a nice day.